and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. The only podcast that you need to be listening to. It doesn't matter how many podcasts WWE puts out there. They will never be as cool as this one, Sancho. Wrestling is Cool, brought to you by me and you.
That's right, Cody Rhodes. You come in here to our realm and you're going to find out how deep this water goes, brother. This ain't the shallow end. This is 12 feet deep. Ain't that right, Santi?
You goddamn right. We don't care that you're brought to you by Wheatley Vodka or whatever, and that you name your podcast after your lame-ass catchphrase. So, what do you want to talk about? Come on, can't you be a little bit more creative than that? And I know that our podcast is called Wrestling is Cool. It didn't particularly take a lot of brain cells to come up with it, but come on.
Yeah. You suck, Cody Rhodes.
Dude, it is kind of funny seeing WWE dive so deeply into the world of podcasts. Everyone is getting a podcast these days. Soon we're going to get the Karrion Kross podcast. Just kidding. He ain't getting anything because WWE doesn't want to give him even so much as TV time. These comedians are out here getting more TV time than Karrion Kross. It's annoying.
Oh, don't forget the NBA players. Everybody's going to get more TV time than Karrion Kross. Vikingo got more TV time than Karrion Kross.
Dude, okay, speaking of Vikingo, would you rather be a Viking, a pirate, or a cowboy in the Wild Wild West?
Ooh, cowboy.
Ooh.
Cowboy, you get it.
Explain.
Granted, every single one of these three has a cool hat. You can't go wrong, right? Every iconic, right?
Wait, what's the Viking? The Viking helmet. Yeah.
You get the pirate helmet.
You definitely would not be one of the soldier Vikings. Over here we have Sancho calling it a hat. Do not send him out there. He will die. He's not going to Valhalla.
Great. Thanks. Maybe
All right,
I wanted to be a Viking.
So hats, cool hats.
One, I think the Vikings took a step back when the WWE called that tag team the Viking Experience. That's like a whole, you know what I mean? Set the whole culture back for a little bit. It set
the Viking culture back 100 years by having the Viking Raiders going out there cosplaying. It's kind of interesting that we've now had two Viking-related gimmicks in WWE within the past 2 years. So that's too many.
Do you think the Ascension was kind of cool, right? They had that little Hellraiser type vibe, right?
I think they were supposed to be like Illuminati men. I think that's what they were supposed to be. A pirate gimmick. We haven't had very many of those in the WWE. Kyrie saying, didn't we? Okay, so I'm either thinking of an actual pirate gimmick from the Ruthless Aggression era, or I'm thinking about the one dude that's a pirate in dodgeball. I don't know. I might be like mixing the two. There might be a pirate gimmick somewhere in here, but it might just be the pirate dude from Dodgeball that I'm thinking about because they're around the same time.
Pirate Steve Yard. Dude, Dodgeball, a hard sport, dude. Not gonna lie. You ever played Dodgeball at a high level?
Okay. Have I not told you my my elementary school dodgeball story? My heroic dodgeball story?
No, we've been around for a while. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So in elementary school, I always volunteered in the special needs classes. It's something that my parents always wanted me to do, build character, learn the struggles of others, something that I'm going to make my kids do. So I transferred to a new school, and I transferred to a new school in the new year. So halfway through the semester. And my first day being there, the first thing I did, hey, I want to volunteer with the special needs classes. And so I did, and they let me in. Within the first 2 days, the Thursday of that first week, they're doing like their school like spirit week, and it's like a pep rally. And one of the things that they're doing is a dodgeball tournament. And I'm new, so I don't have any friends yet. So like the other kids and the other...
How old are you at this time?
I'm grade 8. So I would be like 13, 14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the other kids have like teams. All the other like guys that play sports have made teams. I don't have a team. So I suggest, hey, why don't we make a team with the special needs class? I think it'd be cool. Let's go in and play. As it turns out, they love the idea. So they put together a team and we put it into this tournament. All right. So our team has kids with all kinds of disabilities. We have kids that have physical disabilities, mental disabilities, all different kinds and ranges. Boys, girls, all of them are on my team. I don't have a disability, but I was on the team as basically their ringer.
Yeah.
I was their ringer, dude, because everyone that we played, all the other teams, also thought I had a special needs disability because I was just on the team and I was brand new to the school, so they didn't know who I was. So because they were afraid to throw the ball really hard at us because it would just look bad, they were like lobbing the ball at us and rolling it. And I'm just out there like a mega athlete, catching all these balls, jumping in front of all the kids to make sure they don't get out. I'm just sweeping this dodgeball tournament. I carried our team to the semifinal. The only team that was willing to throw hard at us was the teachers, those scumbags. We lost to the teachers. I think they caught on like, no, that guy, he's pretending. But it was like a hero story for me, man. I like carried that team on my back.
Yeah.
All the way. You got 3 wins right to the semis.
You got screwed by the authority.
By the authority, man. They tried to hold me down. But yeah, no, that was fun. And I did have to spend like the next like 2 weeks explaining to all my peers that guys, I'm not in that class. I was volunteering.
Yeah.
It was a good time, man. It was a good time.
What was your third? Viking, Pirates, and what was the third one?
Viking, Pirates, Cowboys.
Oh, well, I mean, Dallas Cowboys, you know what I'm saying?
You don't want to be that.
What do you mean? Well, I gotta be a cowboy, dude. I could have a horse, could name it Shimmer, could have a nice hat, brother. In fact, I'll be right back. Do you?
Oh my God, you have a cowboy hat.
Hell
You have to understand, Sancho lives such a secluded life that anytime he gets the opportunity to show off his wares like a cowboy hat, the man just jumps at the opportunity like a little boy. Like, look at my 10-gallon cowboy hat. Pew pew pew. At least that's what I'm assuming he's gonna go pull out. Me personally, I think I might go Viking. I feel like they don't live as gross of a life as pirates, you know. And they're both still on the ocean sailing, but not entirely exclusively on the ocean sailing. I feel like pirates, they're out there getting scurvy, getting gross, spreading diseases, all kinds of things. I don't think that they live the coolest or like the cleanest and safest of lives, even though they're probably the most free out of all of them. I feel like there would be something freeing about being a pirate. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, brother. Yes, sir.
Hold on.
What I mean?
Can you slowly walk into the frame? Just one more time. One more time. Clunk 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 clunk. Rum pum pum tum 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 pum 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 pum. Yeah. I gave you the whole JBL entrance.
Oh, thanks. So cowboy, I'll pick cowboy.
I'm going Viking. I was explaining that I feel like Viking is like a combination of the two. I'm not on the ocean the entire time. I'm also, out in the vast savannah conquering lands, but also on the ocean as well. I feel like I get the best of both worlds being a Vikingo.
A gooner.
Folks, welcome to the Wrestling is Cool podcast, coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. Of course, you could be getting this episode 3 days earlier than everyone else on the planet over on patreon.com/SantiZab. Not only do you get the podcast 3 days early, but you get a whole host of different content series that never get uploaded to YouTube or any other free platform. So please go check it out. We are confident that it's worth your 5 smackers. $5 gets you all of the content. It is not tiered, but if you do want to support with more doubloons, you can be part of our $15 tier where you get your name read out at the end of the show as a producer in the credits, and you get to be part of movie night. Which, are we doing it this weekend? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, let's do it this weekend. We're going to do Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre. I've never seen it.
You never seen Nacho Libre?
I've only ever seen. I feel like I've seen the movie through clips at this point. Mm-hmm. That's like a new age thing, by the way. I feel like I've seen so many movies without seeing them just by seeing like part 1 on TikTok. And
with the little line in between.
Yes, the little line in between it being mirrored. I've seen so many movies that way at this point. But yeah, we're gonna watch Nacho Libre this weekend for the $15 patrons who get access to the Discord. And the folks are over there in that Discord, like running predictions for PLEs. They've got PLE predictions champions over there. They've gathered a whole community there over there.
I gave them a place, and it's like a slice of pizza in the refrigerator. It's a whole other like mold bacteria just grew out of it, and fungus, and it's like spreading. I had no idea. I have no idea what's happening. I used to keep up with it. I would watch it, and that's when we had like 100 people. But now it's like ballooned to so much, and it's its own thing now. There's a new mayor. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
there's a new sheriff in town.
I don't know what's happening over there anymore. So it's kind of cool to see a community thrive like that. Because as a content creator, you always want something to eventually grow on its own and do its own thing. And I've tried so many different times, but it's really cool to see it actually click somewhere with like the Wrestling is Cool community. And the Wrestling is Cool community, that's all we wanted to do when we created that Discord, to give you all a place to talk wrestling when we're not around 24/7 and whatever promotions you want to talk about. It is very civilized over there, I would say, though. It's not as shenanigan as you think.
I don't know, man. I see some shenanigans, fun shenanigans, though. No toxic shenanigans. But there's shenanigan for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you go in there, you can introduce yourself, you tell people like your favorite wrestler, and then like, yeah, there's some. What's really cool is the more you talk, you rank up, and there's some already Hall of Famers already in there. It's kind of crazy. Like before, everyone starts off as jobbers. You got to earn your way.
Got to earn your.
What do you think?
Keep. Huh? That's nice. That's actually nice. Yeah. You're pulling that off. Yeah,
got that.
Your hero JBL would be proud.
Oh no! Stop it! Why? Why do you have to ruin this for me?
Oh man, Sancho, there's a lot going on, and I don't feel like it's just a lot going on in like what we just watched in WWE this week. There's just a lot of WWE, brother. We already talked about it, but I made a whole video talking about just like how many PLEs there are, and obviously like woe is me. Just sit back and enjoy it.
Turn off your brain, brother.
Have you seen the full schedule now for July 12th, 13th? It's insane.
No, I haven't.
It's insane. But it's properly confirmed as of today. So July 12th, obviously we have AEW All In. At night, we have Saturday night's main event. So they tried to put Saturday night's main event across from All In. All In pivoted to the afternoon to not go up against Saturday night's main event. The day after, on the 13th, is Evolution. And they've now confirmed that the Great American Bash is now also on the 12th, going up directly at the same time as AEW All In.
Question. I know that Tony Khan has talked about it. He said like, well, the Jim Crockett did the same thing. They try to balance people out, and it's not going to be the same result. It's going to be different, right? We're going to be able to survive, that type of vibe. Tony Khan said that. You want that from your leader. But when is the AEW going to really like fire the first shot, like the return shot, the return volley, right? Because right now it seems like they're in the mode of just defense, like maintain, hold the horde down, take all these shots from WWE and just move forward, right? But when are they going to go, bam, we're going to sign someone like mega star, steal someone from you and really get this thing going? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing that for a while, like signing the WWE talent and beating WWE to the punch two big stars like Will Ospreay, like Okada, and obviously signing like big names and WWE future Hall of Famers like the likes of Daniel Bryan, Moxley, etc. So I feel like they've taken their pound of flesh from WWE in that regard, but WWE is just this production behemoth. I don't know what AEW could do to punch back when it comes to counter programming, because I genuinely don't think that they have the ability to be able to pull that off, because WWE has so many shows that they can literally like kamikaze sacrifice any one particular smaller show to go up against AEW, like they did with Battleground. Like, screw it, it's an NXT show, it's big enough, it'll take away enough eyeballs, and it's not one of our big ones, it's not our main one. We're gonna do it with Great American Bash, and I just don't think that AEW has the I don't want to say necessarily the production capabilities, but I just don't think that they have enough arms on that octopus like WWE has to be able to send out envoys all over the place to try and counter program WWE. I just don't think it works that way. I don't think that when you're the smaller brand that you have the firepower to be able to do that. And that's business in general, right? Like when you have a nice consumer good product, what tends to happen is either the big guy buys you out or the big guy takes away your shelf space for their own stuff. And the smaller brand can't do anything about it. And it's so cruddy, dude. I hate this practice. I'm obviously more of a WWE fan. It's what I watch more on a regular basis. I watch AEW weekly as well, but WWE is certainly my bread and butter. But I root for WWE in the sense that I want WWE to be the best product available, but I don't root for WWE in the sense that I want them to beat AEW as a business, because I want them both to thrive. And to see WWE very obviously and like to the levels of like just with no shame trying to slice AEW's throat is lame.
Well, the point I was almost trying to say is like the only difference is AEW can withstand, and they have the money to just tank as much as possible.
And TV deals. In terms of,
I'm not talking about like NFL draft NBA tank. I'm talking about like tank damage. Like they could take as much as possible. And it's clearly they could make these deals happen on television without the ratings to support it. You know, ratings in television may be an archaic thing to think about these days because now everybody's gone mobile. You know, everybody's all over the place. They're not necessarily watching TV. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I watched WWE. I know I'm watching here in my rig, but I no longer watch it on television anymore. I watch it on the app and I watch it on Sling. I watch it on a variety of different things. The point I want to make is that I'm talking about if I think in their back pocket, AEW could definitely pull like a big name. I'm talking about like an active big name away from WWE. They could do that. I'm talking like the levels of a Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, like someone of that magnitude that is just hot off a storyline. They could just pull, and if they could do more of that, I think that's when things may shift back to AEW. Because I was thinking about, I really truly believe that AEW has captured this notion of premium live event. When I bought, I haven't started watching Double or Nothing, but the feeling that I'm getting that I'm about to watch, it's a premium event that I cannot see on their television anywhere else. It's going to be crazy action, high flying spots, really chaotic wrestling, that it's like, it feels special. Whereas WWE, when you get that premium live event, like what does that mean in a WWE sense? What are they bringing to the table that is different from their weekly television? Maybe it's a big return. Maybe it's a chaotic match where it's like false finishes back and forth. But have we captured that premium vibe from WWE beyond the big four? I think the international backlash has that premium feel that you can't get on weekly television. But that's where the headspace I'm at. Coming into this, AEW is withstanding, tanking this attack from WWE, while WWE, like you mentioned, is throwing everything at it. But will Worlds Collide feel premium? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, I get it. Actually, I think Worlds Collide might be the worst example you could have brought up, because I think Worlds Collide will be premium in the sense that you're not going to get that on WWE TV. That will be unique. That will be different. Okay. But a Saturday night's main event, I feel like we've gotten plenty of examples that's not particularly very premium. Last one was great, by the way. We'll talk more about it. But traditionally, like I wouldn't have said that, like, oh yeah, that's a premium WWE product that you can't get on Monday Night Raw or on Friday Night SmackDown. And there's certainly been PLEs where I'm like, man, that just felt like a decent episode of Raw. Meanwhile, AEW pay-per-views, like more often than not, I'm like, oh yeah, like I needed to pay for this. This deserved money in some capacity. This deserved to be paywalled. Just sucks, dude, that people are gonna have to choose between Great American Bash or Double or All In. I'm picking All In. Like I'm not missing out on AEW's biggest show for. I don't want to call it a throwaway, but it feels like a throwaway because it just feels like it only exists to go up against All In. You know what I mean? Even though it could very well end up being a good show, it feels like it only exists just because All In is there. So I'm going to go with All In. Almost out of principle, I'm going to go with All In.
But isn't this strange to be having this conversation as wrestling fans?
Big time.
You know, because right now, I'm sure people listening, even our own Wrestling is Cool patrons, the biggest of the fans that we have here, maybe going, oh, they're loving AEW too much. But no, we're just having a conversation about where the state of wrestling is heading, brother. Like the WWE, AEW is clearly at throes right now. WWE has created the WWE ID program to take away young resources away. They've the combative programming, like we're talking about. They're already leaning towards TNA, so they're already siphoning TNA. We'll talk more about Trick Williams. And now they're already heading towards Noah. Now they're in Mexico with AAA. It's clearly it's like a game of Risk that we're seeing the moves. And I've yet to see AEW make other moves like that, right? I think right now AEW, instead of focusing on outside resources, they are really doing a great job at focusing within and what they do have, right? The Swerve Stricklands, the Hangman Adam Page, the Ospreys, and all those kind of fun things. Right? They are really honing in on that, and they're flourishing a little. The Hurt Syndicate coming from WWE doing really well. Even Ricochet is found a new life in AEW. In that ambulance match, that's the kind of stuff that would be really awesome in the Attitude Era, right? That was a chaotic match that you would typically see in the Attitude Era, but AEW is doing it now. And the thing is, what's happening is when you take away those people out there that cannot hear this conversation, if you just remove those headphones for a second, you're actually missing out on some really awesome wrestling.
Yeah, I am curious about, let's just call it what it is, WWE's like invasive monopolistic tactics right now. You mentioned them all,
that's
right?
A very fancy word.
It is monopolistic. I feel like in the short term, it's been really cool, right? Because we've been getting to see, for example, people from Noah, like Inamura. I've all of a sudden fallen in love with Inamura on NXT. We're getting to see AAA getting showcased to a wider audience. TNA is being seen by the most amount of eyeballs that it's ever been seen by before. WWE is propping up all of these brands that it's working with, but I'm very curious if the conversation and the sentiment will be the same 10 years from now. What will it look like 10 years from now when the WWE has fully like spread across the world? We have NXT Europe that's been now properly confirmed. So European indies, careful, good luck, because now that ID program is going to seep into the old continent and start siphoning talent from all over the United Kingdom, all over the European promotions that are flourishing right now in the absence of NXT UK as well. But now that NXT Europe is coming, I'm nervous for many of those promotions, especially with that ID program already in place. Right now, I feel like it's sunshine and daisies with all of these partnerships, but I'm really, really curious if we're going to feel the same in 10 years from now when WWE has truly, fully spread their roots.
Yeah, we got to definitely put a pin in this timeline, like where we're at right now. Because like you mentioned, the ID program I think that is the biggest secret hidden, that chess piece move. We haven't played chess yet. You and I are both friends on chess.com. I cannot wait to throw down. But it's like that little chess piece you move that you don't even see a mile away. It's coming, and all of a sudden it's over.
It's that bishop on the corner, and you're just waiting for that aisle to open, and your opponent doesn't realize that they've left the queen hanging on the other side of the board. At some point, that queen's going to activate, brother. And right now, it's fun. It's fun. It's cool seeing all this stuff, seeing Vikingo on Monday Night Raw. We're going to get to see what I think is going to be a match of the decade contender that for WWE and Vikingo and Chad Gable, just in terms of in-ring talent that I see at face value. We're seeing all this crazy stuff with TNA. We got Santana on WWE TV. Really, really cool stuff going on. I already mentioned Inamura, but that right now is the honeymoon phase. It's so early on. I think it's going to get ugly eventually.
I agree. When contracts like that's what I mean. Like the big contracts are coming up. That if there's going to be, you certainly have to say who is loyal to the WWE and who wants to protect their future. And there's no wrong answer. It's okay to protect yourself and go like, I want the money to get generational wealth. I mean, when Seth Rollins' contract up, that's going to be a serious conversation. for him and Becky, right? We could wrestle one more contract and we could retire early if we go to AEW. Or they could drive up the price and WWE has to match. It's going to get nasty, dude. And at the same time, TKO has no shame of allocating resources and cutting things that cost too much. TKO, it's what's interesting though is the overall, and I had this thought, and let me know if I'm on a weird wavelength. We shifted from a Vince McMahon family-led business. When we thought Triple H was taking over, we were like, oh my God, this is now a Triple H-led business. And we were like, oh, Triple H is doing the booking. We're now in a Triple H era. This is the Paul Levesque era. Not so fast. Now that honeymoon phase is gone, the shroud is gone, we are in the TKO era where it is not Triple H is in control. It is not Triple H it doesn't feel that he is in control at the driver's seat right now. I don't feel that anymore. I like that those previous years when I'm sitting there at SummerSlam in Nashville where Brock Lesnar is about to drive down the aisle in the tractor. I'm like, oh my God, we are in a Triple H booking era. We are in the Triple H era, and this feels awesome. Now with all these kind of changes, with these moves, and now that we're getting into the business minutia of TKO, and now TKO is finally letting itself loose a little, I'm starting to see the true era that we're in, my friend, the TKO era.
Triple H thinks he's in charge, and then TKO goes, "Do you feel in charge?"
Does this give you power over? Because when he made that Money in the Bank announcement, it was like, that's not Triple H.
I know, dude. It felt like a hostage video, dude. Let's talk about that. It legit felt like we were watching a hostage video. The Triple H, like off camera, there was guys with guns pointing it at Triple H, like, tell them that Money in the Bank is coming to New Orleans and they're going to love it and that it's fine. Money in the Bank 2026 has been confirmed for New Orleans in 2026, while at the same time, WrestleMania 42 has been yoinked away from New Orleans. Very unprecedented, Sancho. Ever since I've been watching wrestling, we have known the place and the time of WrestleMania a whole year in advance, usually more than a year in advance. We are 10 months away from WrestleMania.
Already?
About 10 months because we're in the end of at the end of May. We're 10 months away from WrestleMania, and we still technically don't know the location of WrestleMania 42. The information that we have was that there was a bigger, more significant bid for WrestleMania 42. Immediately, everyone jumped to Saudi, and Twitter was going crazy. Oh, no, WWE selling out to Saudi, yada, yada, yada. As it turns out, the big rumor mill, it's not confirmed as of the making of this podcast, is that it is Las Vegas once again. That Las Vegas made so much money from casinos, from the hotels, from the Ubers. Their damn water bottles are like $6. They made just so much money off the back of WrestleMania weekends, because you got to remember, it's not just the 2-night WrestleMania. They did NXT, they did the Hall of Fame, they did Raw, they did SmackDown, they did NXT Tuesday there, they did, the roast. So there was like, I want to say like a total of 10 events, because if you had WWE World, that Undertaker like podcast thing that they did live, between all of those things, obviously like WWE put on a lot. I have to imagine that the city of Las Vegas just enriched themselves enough to the point where they put in a significant bid to toss out the lame ass city of New Orleans. You poor ass New Orleans. You can't afford WrestleMania. Listen, if the fans, WWE is so expensive that not only have they priced out fans, they've priced out cities. They've priced out cities at this point, Sancho.
I mean, clearly to me, it's the business decision for Las Vegas. Just to let you know, here in the United States, tourism has gone down a little bit, okay? Things are going wild over here in the United States. A lot of people from overseas are not coming in and going to their normal spots. And one of the canary in the coal mines is Las Vegas. When Las Vegas tourism goes down, everything else is like, red alert just a little bit here. So Las Vegas is seeing those numbers dip. And what does Las Vegas do? The house always tries to win. And so the house is trying to find new ways to attract people from overseas. And the WWE is one of the most perfect things to do. And they're looking for an annual sports thing because they would love the Super Bowl every year for sure. So they could get the WWE Pro Wrestling Super Bowl every year in their city, influx it with all that cash. Everybody makes money. The tourism goes back up. It maintains a healthy thing. That's the business side of thing in Vegas. For fans, we get sent the bill. We foot the bill, brother.
Yeah.
And we talked about at great lengths how awful Vegas is just to navigate, as even on TwitchCon on a smaller scale. If I wanted to meet up with you, if I wanted to meet up with another set of friends, it's a pain to travel around Vegas, to take those Ubers, to go through the casinos, to find the best restaurants that you could afford at different tiers. It's madness. And so that's what I'm talking about, brother. These moves that we're saying, like, oh, this is a Triple H. No. We are clearly in the TKO era, and this is a TKO move. Now, at the same time, is it all bad for the viewer at home? No, not for me. But for the viewer that wants to be a fan and go to these things, that's where it gets expensive.
Yeah, I do think there's a magic, even when you're watching at home, seeing all of the different stadiums and how they get decked out for WrestleMania. But at the end of the day, that's like 2% of the excitement of WrestleMania, at least for me. Maybe some schmuck out there is just like, I only watch WrestleMania for the stage reveal, brother, and then that's it. That's all. It's possible that weirdo exists, but I think for the most part, most fans around the world won't be impacted by this. But I still think it's kind of lame. I wish that they would travel to give different types of locations an opportunity to host, different social stratas to be able to go to WrestleMania, because a Vegas WrestleMania would be far more expensive than an Indianapolis WrestleMania, for example, just in general. Indianapolis being a far more easy to drive in city, lots of hotel rooms, just generally a cheaper place with it being in Indiana. I'm just giving examples, right? Like it would just be nice to have options where I can say, okay, this is not the year that I'm going to be able to afford WrestleMania, but next year, maybe they'll be closer to me and I won't have to pay for a flight and accommodations. That would be nice. Because I do think, Sancho, and I think that this is a Vegas problem, right? One of the problems with Vegas sports teams, we see it with the Raiders, we see it with the Golden Knights, is that they just have typically the weakest fan bases in sports. And that's because a lot of the people that go to like a Vegas Golden Knights game, a lot of people that go to a Raiders game now aren't hardcore Raiders fans. They are tourists that happen to be in Las Vegas because that's a massive tourist destination hub that are like, hey, when in Rome, let's go check out a Las Vegas Raiders game. Let's go check out a Las Vegas Golden Knights game. So you don't have this super hardcore, like born and bred to love their sports team audience. And I'm concerned that might happen for WrestleMania, that you're not going to have the full born and bred to love wrestling. It's real to me, brother, that you're just going to have the people that can afford it, the tourists, combined with hardcore wrestling fans that are able to afford it. It's just not going to be the same petri dish of hardcore wrestling fans that you could gather in other places.
I mean, the Vegas only amps up sports teams that are doing well. I mean, the Golden Knights had a solid season when they won the championship. I remember there was
a good team. That was a good team. But I'm purely talking about the fan base.
I agree. Like the Vegas locals dislike going to the Strip. I have friends that live there. Every time I visit Vegas, they're like, oh, I don't want to go to the Strip. Let's go somewhere off the Strip. The big thing I want to say, though, is like when it comes down to Vegas and all these kinds of repeating actions, and I just don't like the idea of it, man. Like the annual Vegas thing, it just takes away that magic that WrestleMania is, man. The ability to amplify an area that is more for the middle class, Detroit and all those kinds of areas in Vegas. And I feel bad for the city of New Orleans, man. I love New Orleans. New Orleans is a dope town, dude. The people are nice. The food's delicious. They're like, shout out to my boy, Mr. X, right? Taking care of me taking care of me at the hotel. So that city was ready for it. And maybe it's because they already had a WrestleMania couple. Like when was the last one in New Orleans? Like,
I mean, not that long ago, 34.
34, but then they had like 30 and 34, like those two. Like,
not as recent as Vegas.
But the thing is, the city of New Orleans is an easy town to get to, and it could hold the infrastructure, and they do have casinos there, and they do have multiple venues. They have the Superdome and things of that sort, and they could have the arena for who plays there. Pelicans and stuff. Yeah. They play there too. So they have those multiple venues, right? Because when it comes to WrestleMania, they need the big NFL stadium and the NBA arena to be able to hold both SmackDown, Raw, and then WrestleMania. So there's not much, but dude, this is just the beginning of the iceberg. If they're going to create a war in terms of who gets to get at WrestleMania, and we should have saw this earlier when the Royal Rumble was gifted to Indianapolis for what, two? They have two of them now, right? Didn't they go like, we're going to be here this year and they're going to be here in 2027?
I think it was Royal Rumble and a future Mania. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay, so it's clear to me that there's a lot of cities that want the WWE, and you know what the problem is? When the WWE know it's the bell of the ball, oh brother, they're gonna want you to work for it. They're gonna have European cities next fighting for it. I'm surprised that the Saudis did not get Mania from us, because it's clear that the WWE is like, advertising money will be there. The audience will make its way there. We will make all the money that we can here. Money.
I like money. So I'm just confirming this number. I believe the number was that the New Jersey commission, or city commission or state commission, whatever it is,
Athletic commission.
Yeah, they shelled out $8 million to have. I'm sorry, the browser covered you. They shelled out $8 million to get the first 2-night SummerSlam in MetLife Stadium. I believe
that's it. We could raise that.
We got this. Just a quick GoFundMe. Let's have SummerSlam in my studio here, right beside all my wrestling buddies back there. But if $8 million is the going price right now for SummerSlam, dude, I gotta imagine that the going price for WrestleMania has to be 15-20 million, right? In terms of the maybe more, just based on the economic impact and how many things WrestleMania brings with it. Because you know, we mentioned all the WWE centric things, but there's so many more things. Like WWE's the whale, and then there's the plankton, the smaller fish that attach themselves to that whale. The smaller shows, GCW has a thing there every single year with WrestleMania. WrestleCon, it follows WrestleMania every year. So if 8 million is the going asking price right now for SummerSlam, I can only imagine what the going price right now is going to be for WrestleMania moving forward, especially if this was a significant upbid to warrant not just uprooting, you know, the announcement of New Orleans,
The Rock,
but
The Rock.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, completely belittling what The Rock had to say. Brother came back to take souls and announce New Orleans.
Get The Rock right there behind you. Get him right there. Yeah, there we go. And the final boss. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, The Rock. The final boss.
New Orleans. The Rock needs $15 million. The Rock demands $15 million. I want your soul of your city. Dude, it's crazy that they had The Rock announce all of this, have a press conference about this. And just kidding. More money from Vegas.
You know, as the final boss character, I do believe it's important to be able to keep this character in tune with what the people want. And I really do feel like the city of New Orleans embodies that. If you smell what Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the final boss, is cooking, such a fascinating character to play. I cannot wait to see where develop. I hate when he does this. Like, what are you doing, Dwayne? Dude, it is definitely one of those. I get what the perfect way to put the cherry on top for that bad PR week of entire Mania. Like, why not just bookend it with this announcement of we're going back at it again? And I will hold on to my experience as TwitchCon as being the essential barometer for having to be in an event, to having to go to different places across the strip. And I've heard multiple stories of, and we try to tell you, where it takes hours to get from one end to the other. When everybody's mass moving from one side of the strip to the other, it takes a long time because all the taxi cabs and it's just not built for an influx of people all at once. F1 almost destroyed the city. Oh my God, Vegas.
Bro. F1 during TwitchCon, that was awful. Awful. I won't go to Vegas again for TwitchCon if they ever decide to do it again there.
Twitch didn't want to do it. That's why Twitch went back to San Diego, and wow, what a breath of fresh air San Diego was compared to Las Vegas. We had the ability to hang out easier, the ability to get around, and it wasn't that difficult just to do extracurricular activities. And I didn't feel in my wallet begging for mercy. I know there's people out there that are listening that probably went to WrestleMania that said we had a great time. We were able to go to the casinos and do X, Y, and Z. But man, that's not everybody's experience, and that's not the majority of experience. And I'm happy that you had a great time, but could you afford to do it again next year? I don't know. That's again within 10 months. You're gonna have to do it again, brother.
Again, not confirmed yet, but like, come on, it's basically confirmed.
Do you think you pivot if you're WWE? Do you pivot? Do you go like no? I mean, clearly they already jumped off. New Orleans has probably got upset and go like, we don't want you anymore.
Well, clearly not, because they took Money in the Bank. Here's the scraps, nerd. Here's the scraps, loser.
New Orleans Money in the Bank. But what do you think they stick with it or do they pivot? I think they have no choice. They opened up Pandora's box and have to walk down.
I'm about to take WrestleMania away from you.
You're so.
I'm about to give you Money in the Bank instead.
What can we? Okay, this will all be fixed if Channing Tatum introduces Money in the Bank as Gambit.
They do so the
tie-in. They do the tie-in with the Marvel movie with Gambit. Woo!
They should honestly the having Channing Tatum as Gambit doing the hostage video that Triple H had to do. Having Channing Tatum as Gambit instead would have been better.
Yeah, would have been better. Would have been better.
Ooh, Baranica. Hey, for myself, you're about to take away Money in the Bank. Oh man,
we lost ourselves on Mania, but we get ourselves on Money in the Bank.
We already talked about Worlds Collide a little bit, but let's hammer that home. Money in the Bank, Worlds Collide. That's around the corner. Did you see the craziness that's going on with the AAA Mega Championship announcement? Did you see this, Sancho?
I did, but you gotta let the people know,
dude. Ever since the announcement of Worlds Collide, what I tell you, they're not going to have Alberto El Patron as the champion. You were adamant that they have to have the champion. I agreed.
I wasn't adamant. I said,
no.
Yeah, you're right.
No, you were adamant that the champion needs to be there, and that's when we were like, well, Alberto's the champion. And then I said, he's not going to be the champion. They're going to give this to Vikingo. Vikingo is the one that they're pushing as the WWE guy. He's at WrestleMania. He's on the poster. Well, folks, as it turns out, there is a taping of AAA where the main event on May 31st is Alberto El Patron, the AAA Mega Champion, going up against Hijo del Vikingo. And then WWE has announced that Hijo del Vikingo versus Chad Gable will be for the AAA Mega Championship. Isn't that curious? Considering Hijo del Vikingo is not the champion. So what happened here? WWE spoiled the result that Alberto El Patron will be losing to Hijo del Vikingo later here in the month and going into Worlds Collide as the AAA champion. Here's the thing. That doesn't surprise me at all in the slightest. We've been calling it here for a mile away. It is corny that they did that, though. You know, I don't necessarily like feel bad for Del Rio. I've seen some people saying like that's such a cruddy thing to do to Del Rio. I think it's a cruddy thing to do to AAA, like ruining their upcoming show and their upcoming match result. I think it's cruddy to do that. Well, we have learned, Sancho, not sure if you picked up on this bit of info. Apparently, the match graphic and what they were saying was geolocked. So the Mexican crowd did not see the graphic saying that it's for the Mega Championship. They did not hear.
I'm happy the Mexicans don't have access to the worldwide internet.
Like, apparently, Michael Cole did not say anything about it being for the AAA Championship in the Mexican broadcast. But yeah, it's quite the bold assumption to not think that Mexico, a giant country, doesn't have access to a basic need like the internet in 2025.
Dog, at the end of the day, it's sure it sucks that they got the spoiler winner. And last time another promotion ruined the ending. It was, hey, don't go switch over to Mankind. Mankind's gonna win the championship. Don't want to watch that. So maybe that gives more eyeballs to AAA to see what Alberto Del Rio will do. But what I take away from it is the WWE does not want any business with them. Even the people in the WWE, when we had good old Rusev beat down Tozawa and Sheamus comes out to stand up against the bully. And then all of a sudden people were tweeting at Wade Barrett like, hey, let's get the band back together. And Wade Barrett replied back with a Team America.
Did he do that? That's awesome. That's awesome.
Good old Stu Bennett. So clearly that ship is never going to come to port, and that's never going to happen. But at least the WWE likes the idea of Sheamus and Rusev. But back to Alberto Del Rio, is spoiled goods, man. Spoiled goods can't come to shore. It kind of reminds me of those random horror movies where there's like a ship that has like a little container on it that has a virus. You can't let it get to the port because then all of a sudden it's going to spread everywhere. That's Alberto Del Rio, dude. We can't let it land at Worlds Collide in that LA port. We can't do that. We got to get rid of it beforehand.
I honestly just think that with it being geolocked and them giving information to different to North America versus Mexico, I think they just don't want the North American European crowd, which is like predominantly like where the WWE fan base is located, to know that Alberto is even in the equation. That like I genuinely don't think that they want them to know of his existence right now. They can't do that in Mexico, obviously. He's a big name there, respected name there, but I feel like you kind of hit it on the head. He's kind of soiled goods here in North America and with the European crowds. I just don't think that he would land.
No, I mean, if you take away what all the other extra crap that's with Alberto Del Rio, he looks like a stud right now, though.
He's also been released like twice by the WWE, and neither one of his runs was something that you're like, oh man, I miss Del Rio. You want to like let's move controversy aside, like genuinely, let's move it aside for a second. Let's put blinders on. I'm not at all interested in Del Rio. Like you people want to say that Jay Uso is only a gimmick and a catchphrase. Del Rio, in my opinion, was also just a gimmick and an entrance. The ring announcer in my eyes was the real star in Alberto Del Rio. I never vibed with him at all. Controversy aside, there's a reason why he got let go twice in separate occasions in the WWE.
I think his run that really solidified that was when he was with the League of Nations and really didn't stand out.
Yeah.
You had Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett, and you had Sheamus, Rusev, and Alberto Del Rio. And you know who they were the lackeys for? You know who was the head honcho?
I'm trying to remember.
Mr. Vince McMahon was the one pulling the strings. Pulling the strings for good old League of Nations. So that'll give you the hint of where Alberto, he didn't leave like as a world-class like breaker or anything of that point. He was just another mid-card guy, and he doesn't have that same kind of splash as Rusev. So I don't know, man. At the end of the day, Vikingo is the future of lucha wrestling, and I think that's a great opportunity. And this is one of those other moves that I think was such a huge strategic move that I'm part of me is convinced that the WWE was like, how can we get Vikingo into the WWE? Oh, let's just buy the entire promotion because we have no other choice, because we don't want this guy to go to AEW. They see a lot in him. This guy, though, Santi, would never see the light of day in a Vince McMahon WWE. Way too small. Way too small for WWE at the Vince's era. But dog, we're gonna get a banger of a match, like you said. On paper, Chad Gable, which I am convinced Chad Gable will find a way to get out of this match, and Grande Americano is gonna find his way into this match, because I think that will hold a bigger stakes for a little bit, and it'll be a little bit of pizzazz, and you could have a great excuse for Rey Mysterio to come back to save Vikingo to prevent Grande Americano from winning the Mega Championship.
See, I actually disagree. Because I actually think they want Vikingo to go over, and Chad Gable's whole shtick is that he can't beat luchadors. Meanwhile, El Grande Americano can defeat luchadors.
But what you're saying is you can't have. Where's Grande Americano? You got to have him at Worlds Collide. You got to have that. There.
Yeah, it would have been funny if El Grande Americano fought at Worlds Collide, and then he was in the Money in the Bank as well. That would have been crazy if they could have pulled that off for Chad Gable. 2 matches on the same weekend.
Yeah, like I told you, the classic 80s movies thing. But what about the rest of the card? I think it's interesting that they give Legado this big opportunity to make a splash and to go up against some of the best of the AAA. But honestly, though, and I'm going to be frank with you.
I thought your name was Sancho.
There's not a lot of big names in that AAA, man. Like,
no, there isn't. Yeah.
as much as I want to know these guys, I want to learn them, and I think this would be a great opportunity to introduce the world. There's no one that I know like off the rip, and you could be saying like, yeah, you don't follow Triple A's. Like, I try my best, but like I think of like I know there's a new La Parka running around. I would love to see La Parka on the card.
You what? You don't know El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., which is technically I know just Wagner the Third.
I know of that Dr. Wagner. I remember that guy. I remember some of the history, but I don't know this iteration of it. I mean, we do our best to watch Match Club and things of that sort, but it's so interesting that this feels like a very top heavy card, right? You have that match with Chad and Viking go, and then whoever Stephanie Vaquer is going to wrestle. And I know during Battleground, they showed the AAA luchadores, the luchadores that she's going to go up against. And I'm like, I don't know who they are. I should know. I would love to know. I wish the WWE did a better job telling these backstories to promote Worlds Collide. They should take some segments from SmackDown, take some segments from Monday Night Raw, NXT to give me the background of the Psycho Clown, right? Let me know what's up with this guy.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the problem with only a 2-week build, technically, right? Between WWE couldn't fully build to Worlds Collide because they were busy building to Money in the Bank and busy building to Saturday night's main event. NXT couldn't build to it because they were busy building up to Battleground, and now we have 2 weeks to create hype around Worlds Collide. And I don't think that they're going to. I think that they are going to rely on this being a in-ring heavy show. Like, we're gonna win you over by one excellent in-ring work, things that will wow you. And because we know that that we're doing a poor job of selling it to you, we won't sell it to you. Instead, we're going to make it free. I think that's a brilliant idea. Free on YouTube, genius. Accessible to the Mexican market, so that they don't have to have Netflix subscriptions or Peacock subscriptions or any of those shenanigans. Everyone in the world gets it for free on YouTube. I actually think that that's a genius decision to get the most amount of eyeballs on this brand new, mostly unknown commodity for the majority of the world. Brilliant decision. But I think they're just going to rely on, let's put this product on in front of as many eyeballs for free as possible and let the wrestling win them over, as opposed to storylines or getting them to fall in love with characters or anything of the sort. Maybe we can do that later, but right now, this is our grand opening of AAA, and we're going to win people over with the in-ring of AAA as opposed to the backstories and motivations of characters.
Because like the people that I know are I love Laredo Kid.
Laredo Kid's awesome. Yeah.
Like Laredo Kid's awesome. I've seen in TNA, I see him in AEW. Like these are the guys that I know. And it for me, when it comes to luchadors, and WCW did a fantastic job of introducing the world of lucha to the mainstream audience. And I think if the WWE is trying to replicate that, like you mentioned, YouTube's a great way. Like when I think of WCW, I think of the Psychosis, La Parka, Juventud Guerrero. Like I think of all those fun luchadors, Ultimate Dragon, like all the Ultimo Dragon. Like those are the kind of guys that I remember from that era. And I think if we could find a resurgence of that, that'd be really awesome. But one thing I want to make clear to everybody that doesn't know like AAA wrestling, you're going to see a different style of wrestling, right? It's a different kind of lucha that you need to embrace. That I know some people don't like. They call it AEW gymnastic stuff, right? And I hate when people do that, right? Like where they call what their moves gymnastics. But lucha is a lot like that. It's a lot of the guys waiting around, setting something up, because you're going to see something death-defying almost, right? Very dangerous. So go in it with an open mind. Have fun. And I encourage you, you be saying like, why don't you say the same things for AEW? It's the same thing I'll tell you if you go to AEW match. Have an open mind and have fun. And let's give these luchadors an opportunity to wow us, because they're literally going to say, hey, we have one of the biggest audience we've had in a long time. Let's do some crazy stuff. Did you see when Dragon Lee dove out on Penta at Monday Night Raw?
That long dart was crazy.
That's just a taste, huh? That's a taste of the glory, okay? A little Nacho Libre right there. A little taste.
Can't wait to watch that movie. No, I'm pumped for Worlds Collide just because I'm curious to see what it's going to be. I do think that they need to knock it out of the park, though. I don't think that they can put on a mediocre. Nice. I don't think that they can put on a mediocre in-ring show. I feel like they need to put together the best product possible. We do have a North American title match. I saw that Javon Evans is on the poster. I feel like Javon Evans is a perfect person to have on this card. I feel like he would fit in so well. Maybe the TNA title will be there. It is Worlds Collide. That would make sense. We'll see, though. We shall see. I could see them doing Santana versus Trick Williams at Worlds Collide for the TNA title as well. That's a possibility.
Don't forget, they got the Ricky Saints.
Ricky Saints, yeah, the North American title match. Well, we don't know that it's Ricky. There's a match between Ethan Page, right? Yeah. We shall see. Money in the Bank.
Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio's on the poster. He'll probably be.
He's going like this. One mundo, the other mundo, and they collide.
That's why we called it Worlds Collide.
Worlds Collide. But Dragon Lee's on there. Wait, is Dragon Lee on there too?
The poster, yeah. Maybe they'll do like a gauntlet match. I don't know what to add. Everyone else.
Ray's on it. Ray,
I'm sure he's just going to be like a host or a personality.
Stephanie Vaquer is on there.
Yeah, she's definitely going to have a match. She's for sure going to have a match.
I'm excited for the Psycho Clown guy. The Psycho Clown.
I'm just curious to see El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
He's a legendary character.
I know, but that name cracks me up because it's just Wagner the Third. Why? But you went with Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
Tradition, Santi. Tradition.
I know. Tradition also has us with Money in the Bank every year. Money in the Bank is slowly coming together, Sancho. We have the majority of the field kind of starting to come together. We even have a match. John Cena teaming up with Logan Paul going up against Jay Uso and Cody Rhodes. What are you pointing at?
I'm pointing at you.
Why?
I'm pointing at you. Ooh, Saturday Night Main Event is a glorified house show. There's no reason to see Saturday Night Main Event. I'm not gonna go see it. I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna go to an indie show. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I saw
Savio Vega.
You're not getting any reactions from me. By the way, support indie wrestling. I highly recommend to do that. Doesn't matter when it appears in your town. Go to me. I'm gonna take my ball and go home. You're not. You get nothing. You get no reactions from Santi about Saturday Night Main Event until an hours later. That's right. I'm gonna ruin clip reactions for everybody. That's you, Santi, right now. You were downplaying Saturday Night Main Event. You probably cost the WWE millions of eyeballs from not watching WWE Saturday Main Event because you told the people. You rang your Paul Revere bell. You got on your horse. You went, don't watch Saturday Night Main Event. It's not worth it. And here you are eating crow. Are you ready to eat crow to show how wrong you were? You kind of knew. You knew. Santi knew. Conman knew. And everybody else that didn't stream knew that something big was going to happen. But guess who was there? This guy. This guy was there babysitting all your little brainiacs out there, your brain rot people. And I had a great time, dude. Saturday Main Event. Wow. Needle mover, story driven, continued storylines on the main event scene. If it did it, then nothing happened. Like, there's no match at Money in the Bank. Imagine that. If they were like, yeah, I want to see a Money in the Bank, and then we don't get that match because it's not canon. They keep up this.
Obviously, I've already eaten my bowl of humble juice. Absolutely.
Yeah, you eat it now here. You eat it here.
I'll eat it. I was wrong in the end result, but I don't think that I was incorrect in my logic. WWE didn't give us a reason to believe in Saturday night's main event. Am I wrong in saying that? I don't think that I am.
I told you at the beginning that it is Saturday Night Wrestling. It's like designed to like, hey man, we're gonna enjoy some wrestling on a Saturday night. I got nothing to do. I don't touch grass. I'm in a cave. Why not watch wrestling and just sit back, relax, and turn your brain off, Santi? You were trying to think of 4 or 5 Saturday main events.
No, but what if I do have the option to touch grass and WWE had put on lazy, boring, unnecessary to watch Saturday night's main events? Yeah, no, there's stuff to like. But like I'm talking in the I would be more willing to not touch grass for a WWE PLE than I was for Saturday night's main event. If I had based on what WWE had put on prior with Saturday night's main event, if I had the option to touch grass or watch Saturday night's main event, I was going to pick touching grass, which I did. And that grass involved more wrestling, brother. I got to see Savio Vega. I got to see Jay Lethal in his black machismo gimmick. Dude, you would have. You would have died laughing, man. The local heel he was going up against, he trapped Black Machismo. For those that don't know, that's Jay Lethal cosplaying as Macho Man Randy Savage. He trapped his arm in the ropes. And then
Macho Man?
Like Macho Man.
And
then he brought out a bag, and it was a fake boa constrictor, stuffed boa constrictor.
Oh, no.
And he had the fake snake bite Black Machismo on the bicep.
No.
It was a hilarious moment. But yeah, no, obviously I ended up being wrong. It's one of those where I'm happy to be wrong, because at the end of the day, it just means I got good wrestling. And now maybe the trick is that Saturday night's main event needs to, anytime it's going up against AEW in some capacity, because this weekend it went up against Double or Nothing, maybe that's when the big stuff that is buzzworthy and worth talking about happens at Saturday night's main event. Because I do think that counter programming isn't just about being on at the same time. I think counter programming is making sure that you dominate the conversation afterwards. And
good point.
And I do think that with all of the stuff that happened at Saturday night's main event, they dominated the conversation coming off the back of the weekend. You know, Bronson Reed, the new man, the Money in the Bank thing, the Jey Uso and John Cena interaction. Cody Rhodes is back. But when they're not going up against AEW, we got duds, man. We got duds. The next one is probably one of those that's must watch. It's going up against right after All In.
So the first Money in the Bank, let's just talk about it real quick. Let's take a slight detour. I know main event. Everyone wants to talk about Money in the Bank. Let's take a slight detour. We have Motor City Machine Guns versus A-Town Down Under, 8-minute match. Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn in a 10-minute match. And that one was weird because Sami basically lost to one Claymore, right? It wasn't like no false finishes. It was like, what? And Sami was Super Sami almost.
Hang on. Before you go through the rest, yes. I want everybody to keep in the back of their mind that this match time that he's listing is with 4 minutes of commercials in between them.
Excuse me. I'm a Twitch streamer. I run ads all the time. I run Twitch ads all the time. I do what I can.
Santi will be running that 15-minute ad timer every hour, just hitting them with ads. 15 minutes, and then the comments are like, "I've got 35 ads."
No, I don't do that. I don't do that, brother. Oh my goodness. Probably not to. Liv Morgan defeating Io Sky. Now that was interesting because that was for the World Championship. That had Rhea come out. It was a great building block. And this is when we started getting that conversation. I was like, well, I know it was weird to see Io lose so easily to Liv, but it built up Liv, and it's important to at least watch Liv's maturation as a champion.
Yeah,
I remember that conversation.
I remember our conversation was like, we needed more of this from Liv's run.
Yes. And then we had Gunther defeating Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And that one was like, Gunther's back, but what's going on with Finn and Damian? Like, this wasn't a good match.
Disjointed.
For me, but it was jarring. Is that what you said?
I said disjointed, which is
the same. Yeah. And then we had Chelsea Green defeating Michin for the United States inaugural champion for the women. Now, at the time, big deal, but then slowly that fizzled out very quickly. It was like a firework. Huh?
Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burst. Make them go. Emo.
4 letters, 1 word. Yeah.
Okay, move on.
4 letters, 1 word. Wepa. I got you back. Yes. Cody Rhodes defeating Kevin Owens. So that one was, you knew that Cody was going to lose, right?
Yeah. And then the big thing, the big talking point happened after the show. The pile driver.
Yes, the pile driver. That's right.
Because that was probably too violent of a move to have on primetime TV.
Yes, when NBC has procedural shows all the time. It was at CBS. It's one of those networks. After that, we went to San Antonio, Texas, in the Frostback Center, sir. And we had LA Knight defeating Carmelo Hayes. Dog, I don't even remember that match.
That's a dark match. That's a dark match. We didn't see it.
It was a dark match?
Yeah.
Wow.
In the last show, you also mentioned DIY versus A-Town Down Under. That was also a dark match.
Dang. We got robbed of those great matches. Yeah. The match to kick it off was Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax.
Yeah.
for the Women's World Championship.
Bad match.
I mean, Rhea Ripley and Nia, it was better than Perth.
It was better than Perth, but that's like bragging about being the principal of a homeschool.
Braun Breaker defeats Sheamus. That one was sick, dude. The spear.
Yeah, that was sick. I like that match. My favorite bit of that match was the fact that Jesse the Body Ventura didn't know that he's supposed to be rooting for the heel, but he thought Sheamus was the heel. So he the whole time he's hyping up Sheamus like the heel.
Yep. And then we had Braun Strowman. Dude, what a terrible missed opportunity. Good old Seth Rollins could have had Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Braun Strowman, dude. That would have been a sick faction, the Triple Bees.
That's a great faction name, Seth Rollins and the Bees.
Yeah, dude.
But bees like Buzz. Buzz,
buzz. Put them all in yellow and black. Braun Strowman defeating Jacob Fatu.
That's one of the more egregious Saturday night's main event things.
That Jacob Fatu was built up as a monster and Braun Strowman beats him?
No, it was a disqualification. It was Jacob Fatu destroying Braun Strowman and making him bleed. And we're like, oh, that's amazing. This is the needle mover for Saturday night's main event. And then Braun Strowman shows up 2 days later, like nothing happened. It's like, what? So Saturday night's main event didn't happen. What? That's where everybody's like, oh, so it's not canon.
Didn't he win when he came back too?
Yeah, he eliminated Jacob Fatu from the Rumble like 3 days later. That's where it's like, are you kidding me?
Hey, man. And then he got released. So who ends up losing at the end of the day? Braun Strowman did.
Braun Strowman.
And then Gunther defeats Jay Uso by pinfall. That's where you started getting on your high horse about Canada.
High horse. No, you mean being right? That was ridiculous.
I told you. It's Jay Uso's character to party it off.
But that's not even the problem. The problem was that this dude was already announced for the Royal Rumble. And then last minute, they're like, we're going to put him in a world title match at Saturday night's main event. He loses. Then he celebrates with Travis Scott and then goes to the Rumble and wins it. What the hell was the point of that match in the first place then? Anyways, I do declare your honor. I'll rest my case.
No, wait. We're not resting no cases. You're forgetting the next Saturday night main event. Hello?
Well, yeah, that one was good. That one was good.
Hey, the evidence is clear, Your Honor, that they obviously pivoted, okay? We did it. We win. Again, Triple H doesn't care about the internet.
We win.
Triple H doesn't care about the internet, okay? He doesn't watch our criticism, okay? He made this decision on his own that we're going to actually make Saturday main event some canon stuff. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker defeating CM Punk and Sami Zayn by pinfall with the help of who?
Bronson Reed.
Dude, freak of nature to return from a shattered ankle like that.
Dude, it wasn't just like, I sprained my ankle or I fractured. No, it exploded, brother. It exploded and shattered into pieces and he's back this quick. Good for him.
It was like a 300-pound force dropping on one wee ankle.
Dude, it's still... I still feel like we bear the burden. Fans. We're like, yeah, tsunami off the top of the cage, brother. Let's go. And then he does it. We're like, oh, God.
To be fair, it's CM Punk's fault that he missed.
I don't even remember. I remember
CM Punk pulled Roman.
Yeah.
CM Punk pulled Roman off the table.
And it was like really last second, too.
It was last second, and that would created the handshake, but that's basically took Bronson Reed out of that match. And then we had Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green and
I hated it.
Slow down. Slow your roll. Okay.
No, it's not. It was bad, dude. Stop.
I know, but put on your kitty cat paws for a second, man. You got to feel for Zelina Vega.
I feel horrible. I'm a bigger Zelina Vega fan than you. I am.
I met her in person.
She follows me on Twitter. I do declare your honor. The case is arrested. I declare.
I saw her at a Street Fighter event because she's a voice. She's one of the voices you could use. Dog, you get this opportunity when the spotlight is on you and you got to nail it, and just unfortunate things. And again, I said it with Zoe Starks. It's like there's clear mistiming that's happening a lot, and we're seeing it everywhere. Like that spot with Penta, Dragon Lee, and Chad Gable, don't know what they were going for, but they were going for something.
I think I broke it down in the Raw review for those that maybe haven't seen it on the Patreon. I think Chad thought they were doing a Styles Clash type move because he extended his neck instead of tucking in. So instead, he ended up landing on his face and in his chin instead of landing on his shoulders and the back of the neck, or like the traps where it's protected. Because we saw that move in AAA when in Match Club. We've seen that move.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. And it's supposed to be like more like landing on your shoulders, but Chad took it and extended his neck like he was taking a Styles Clash.
So about that, and then Zelina, breaks the nose of Chelsea Green. It sucks, but I think I will. What?
I look, the way the nose is broken, I'm sorry, it's hilarious. It's obviously bad, but like the bot 619 that didn't go all the way around, she's like, shit, let me just kick her for real.
Bam! Take that. So it sucks, and I will say this until the cows come home, and I'm still waiting. That Zelina Vega needs a new song, dude. It just sounds way too similar like the SmackDown. Yeah. Everyone thinks when she comes in, it's like, oh, we're on a commercial break.
Yes,
because there's a pop for it's Zelina Vega, which they added, by the way, because they had to, and then boom, boom, like, oh, SmackDown music. It's a break. There's no. It's strange to listen to her Royal Rumble appearances with LWO's theme because she gets a pop.
Yeah, I just the song is fine as a song. I just don't think it's a good wrestling song.
No, it's not.
It's the same thing. I like Michin's song. Like, listen to it. It's actually like pretty good. It's just not a good wrestling entrance theme that like generates instant buzz and excitement.
It's the same thing with Judgment Day's new song. It's not you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Can you hum the theme?
No, I can't. No, I genuinely can. But to talk about Zelina Vega, like it's so unfortunate because I felt like WWE left that match out there to sink. It doesn't help that they announced it less than 24 hours before the match actually like took place. So it already felt like it was a shoehorn match for WWE to avoid a PR nightmare of not having a women's match, which was already a bad look that they were going into it 24 hours before the show and they didn't have a women's match. And yeah, just unfortunately it didn't deliver. Like when they were like clicking, it was fine. It was good. But it wasn't good enough to offset the fact that there was no build to this. It wasn't, an interesting storyline. It felt shoehorned. And then obviously like with how it ended with the broken nose, it definitely left a bad taste in fans' mouth as well. And I just don't think that that's representative of Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green. I really don't think that it is. I just don't think that they're being given the fair shake, not necessarily by fans. Like if you go out there and you put on a stinker, I think it's fair game to criticize it. I really do. I don't think they're being given a fair shake by WWE in itself. I've said this before on the show. Big fan of letting somebody or something sink or swim. Put it out there. If it fails, it fails. But put it in a position where it can succeed.
Don't go like this. Oh, go to swim. And then slowly start shoving it down.
Yeah. That goes with the women's evolution, PLE. We talked about how jam-packed that is. And now it's on a Sunday after 3 wrestling shows. People are going to be tired. People are going to be broke, dude. And now that show's probably going to fail. And TKO will be like, see, women don't sell. When it's going to be like, no, people spent thousands and thousands of dollars on the previous day to go to Great American Bash and Saturday night's main event. Now their wallet is tapped for Evolution. Their emotions and their excitement and their literal physical energy is tapped. Anyways, I feel like
it is right.
Yeah, I feel like they put Zelina and Chelsea in a situation where they were more likely to sink than swim.
Especially as the meat sandwich between Bronson Reed's reveal as the third man and John Cena versus R-Truth. It's a tough spot to be in.
Oh my god.
Please. You don't glaze. Are you in this glaze part now?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm glazing it because I call that to a T. If you go back to my YouTube videos, I said R-Truth needs to come out as Cena, all of the colors, salute Steve, run out there, run the ropes. He needs to be the physical. Did I say Steve?
You did.
Yeah, Stu. Yeah.
Pirate Steve.
The ruthless aggression era wrestler from the dodgeball movie, Pirate Steve. he needed to be the representation of everything that John Cena left behind, right? So that it felt more poetic when John Cena wasn't putting down R-Truth. He was putting down his past self. That's
the ghost.
He was putting down the ghost of John Cena. I love that they had the Ron Cena shirt. That was fantastic as well. This was exactly what it needed to be. It didn't overstay its welcome. R-Truth didn't need offense. The only time he got offense was when he was the ghost of John Cena doing the 5 moves of doom. That was perfect. It was everything that it needed to be. It wasn't a championship defense. So, it was just a big, fun exhibition match to help develop the John Cena heel character more than anything. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
It felt like a mirror match that we could never really get only in wrestling. You could get a mirror match between two of the same person. Kind of remind me of Undertaker versus Undertaker. Remember that?
A little bit, yeah.
Purple Undertaker versus Grand Undertaker.
I remember that.
And the great Kane battle royale that happened on the video game. Some guy posted on social media where he had all the different Kanes come out. And
like Gain and cocaine.
And one of them was Raising Kane.
That's awesome.
That was a fun thing. But yes, John Cena, I absolutely like this. And my favorite moment is when he was about to hit R-Truth, and R-Truth was like having the come to Jesus moment, like, dude, what's going on, bro? And John Cena kind of waited for a second, and then he kicked him and low blow, tongue along on him. I find it fascinating that, yes, this is it's one of those Easter eggs. If you kept up with the product throughout the weeks and you sat there and you actually watched Saturday Night Main Event on Saturday when it aired,
I watched it.
Oh, sure.
Like an hour and a half later.
It's okay if you did, by the way. Just Santi shouldn't. How dare you, sir? Pick your own personal life. How dare you? But no, like the John Cena and R-Truth part, it was like if you don't know what happened, it's like missing an MCU television show. It's okay when you come back and you watch the actual MCU run, because it's going to reward the fans that actually watch this Saturday Main Event a little bit, if you actually caught that moment. Really good stuff. And then Damian Priest defeating Drew McIntyre. I think there's a way to write off Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
If they do. Because apparently Drew McIntyre was due for a vacation. He was supposed to go on vacation after Mania. Didn't go on vacation. He stuck around for a little bit, maybe for this Damian Priest launching this launch pad moment. But that was a 12-minute match. And the highlight of the match, I hate to say it, was Jesse Ventura just dragging Damian Priest through the ringer for not going up and over out of the cage or going for the pin. He went out the door. He was like, what do you want to call a limo to get Damian out?
That was the highlight of it. That was the highlight.
Michael Cole was like, hey, just shut up. You're supposed to put this guy over and stop putting him down.
Hey, dude, they kept trying to change the topic, and Ventura just kept going, but what about the door? I cannot believe that he won by going out the door. That's BS.
And then Michael Cole's like, this match is brought to you by Dude Wipes. And no, it's fine. You can't go out the door, Jesse. You're supposed to go out and up and over the cage.
Oh, that was my favorite part, man. Jesse just losing because he was right. He's right. Going out the door is lame. It's lame, especially when a heated feud like that. Wouldn't Damian want to pin McIntyre and tell the world, look, I put him down. I pinned his ass. I didn't have to walk away. No, it was lame. It was stupid.
What the story they were telling, the Wepa King is the new thing I'm calling the Wepa King. The Wepa King basically was just like, you're beneath me, bro. I don't need you. This is time wasted for me. I'm done.
So then why wouldn't he climb over the cage?
Can we, anytime we have logic, can we just do it in Jesse Ventura's voice? Why would Jey Uso fight Gunther on Saturday Night's Main Event and then win the Royal Rumble?
Why would they allow a WWE contracted wrestler to become TNA champion? That is ruining the legacy of that title.
What, you sound like Bernie Sanders?
I am once again asking why you can go out the door in a cage match.
Okay, then we had the main event of Jey Uso defeating Logan Paul. Now, this was just to set up Money in the Bank, which we're going to get back to talking about a second ago. I thought it was a cool match. Now, a lot of common complaints was the ads and the pacing of everything, because when this match started going, I was looking at the clock. I was like, how are they going to get this match in? because before this we had a segment, actually a surprise segment with John Cena being ominous towards good old Jay Uso, and it was cool to see both of them on the same screen together with the championship belts. It's a great image for a casual fan to see, like, oh my God, John Cena's a champion, Jay Uso's a champion. There's the past and the future, yada yada yada. But I just didn't like that the WWE loves to hammer it home, brother. Let's go ahead and tip the hand that we're about to reveal that John Cena is about to screw over Jay Uso here. Well, I wish it just came out of nowhere, but obviously the WWE wants to make sure that you understand that when John Cena comes out to interfere in the match, this is the reason why. He was trying to ruin wrestling by having a YouTuber. And why the WWE hates YouTubers all of a sudden? What did we do?
Yeah, dude, they use it like such a like a bad word. YouTuber.
Yeah, a YouTuber. So yeah, that was a fun little thing because the stepping stone of course, was revealed that we set up John Cena versus Logan Paul versus the good old Cody Rhodes. He returned, and Jay Uso. How did you feel about
lazy match? What a cop out.
Dude, there was a cool moment though when they hit the crossroads and then Logan, goes in and then Jay intercepts with the spear.
Not complaining about what happened at the show. I'm saying the booking of that match and Money in the Bank was lazy. I like Cody Rhodes. I think I worded that wrong. I like the ending.
Yeah, I was about to say like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I like the John Cena stuff and the Jey Uso interaction. I like the match. As little of it as we got because it was like 2 minutes, 4-minute commercial, and then the last 4 or 5 minutes of the match. It was bad pacing, really, because of the commercials.
And Jay kicked out of a Logan right.
Yeah, he did. They set that up throughout like the build up because that's the move that kept putting him down and sleeping him. So it's like, all right, yeah, that's cool.
I think you had a problem that the commercial hit mid yeet. And you're like, how dare you interrupt the yeet?
Interrupt my yeet. No, my problem is just the announcing of that match just so willy-nilly out of nowhere for Money in the Bank. I think it's just a crutch, man. I think it's a crutch for WWE to not put in effort to build a storyline for any one of their main world champions. They'd rather just, hey, let's just rely on the gimmick of Money in the Bank, the ladder matches. Fair enough, because that is the focus. But like no effort at all in the world title pictures for what is one of their biggest shows of the year, I think is corny. And then people will say, no, you got to find the silver lining. The silver lining here is that they would have only had 2 weeks to build to this. Fair enough, but that's their fault, not ours as fans. That's WWE's fault for putting the schedule the way that it is by only giving themselves 2 weeks to build to Money in the Bank from Saturday night's main event. I think it's lame that both champions are handcuffed to this. Just the same way that I thought it was lame that both champions. It was worse, obviously, for the Saudi show where both champions were handcuffed to that exhibition match, but it's not too far off.
They got a big ass belt for winning, by the way, and a ring, and that belt looked cool.
You're right. Salvage.
Hey, but let me lay it down for you, brother. You are using this build up to Saturday Night Main Event as the end of that Logan and Jay feud. This is the continuation of. They're using Saturday Night Main Event to launch into Money in the Bank because they used that platform where they had a lot of eyeballs to announce like, hey, we're going to have Logan Paul, a major YouTuber, global superstar, John Cena, a major actor, WWE superstar, going up against Cody Rhodes, our new boy, and Jey Uso, our new guy. We're going to have many as eyeballs as possible. And why not announce this match? I'm, for one, excited for this match. I think it's going to be an interesting way if Jay and Cena have the belts going into the Night of Champions, if they do that again, or King of the Ring.
They're doing Night of Champions, yeah.
Okay, if they're going to do Night of Champions again and they're champion versus champion, that'd be a fun match, man. It's going to be a fun match, and guess who's going to win? John Cena, because the Saudis love to have big names attached to that big title that they have. I just see it as more of a continuation, Santi. I don't see it as this is the end of the book and it's a new complete book. It's a new chapter. It's just a different chapter building up for Jay and Logan. If they want to continue the feud and actually have a proper match later down the road, they can. Maybe at a SummerSlam. Don't know.
I almost feel like they've got their chapters mixed up. I feel like this tag match should have come first before any other championship matches.
But how can we get there, Santi? We got to have like now we know John Cena wants to ruin wrestling. What's the best way to ruin wrestling? Have the undisputed title, team up with the biggest heel YouTuber that they have, and make that going. Think about the 2 weeks at least we have of John Cena and Logan Paul running around doing their thing.
Are you sure
And
we
think
have 2 weeks? Are you sure? They weren't on Raw.
Think about Cody and Jay running around doing that. Do you feel him, sir? Bringing the band back together again. There's some good things here. And hey, Jay helped Cody and Cody helped Jay retain.
I mean, I'm glad that you're being optimistic about it.
Being an E-Fed boy. Oh.
Yeah, being an E-Fed boy. I firmly stand by the fact that it feels like
what
a
would
crutch.
You rather have? Gunther and Jay at Money in the Bank again?
Not necessarily. Like I'm not. I guess it is kind of cruddy of me to complain about the thing that we have without providing solutions and providing alternatives. I typically would. It's just it's tough to be able to provide a viable alternative when you only had the 2 weeks to be able to build up to this. I know that you're saying that it's a continuation of the Logan Paul Jey Uso feud. That in itself was also rushed. It's not like that was this well built up, well oiled machine of a feud where yes, I want to see more of this. I don't think that they earned the right for people to say, yeah, we want more of this feud specifically. I think the problem is the lack of separation between shows. And it all started with WrestleMania being so late into the year because Backlash had Backlash happen a week earlier. Had we been able to do Saturday night's main event a week earlier, give us 3 weeks to Money in the Bank, I feel like all of this would be alleviated. But between John Cena's part-time schedule, the 2 weeks towards Money in the Bank, I feel like this was the best available option. I do think it's the best available option. All I'm simply saying is that it's cruddy that this is the best available option. That's not good. That's not good that this is the best available option.
I figured it out.
Tell me, what did you figure out about me?
Well. You thought you could hide that ace up your sleeve, mister. But I see it sticking out of that there. You wanted CM Punk.
You're right.
And John Cena.
I did.
Yes, you did.
I did.
When it all said and done,
I did.
The truth is revealed. You wanted the greatest hits. And what did John Cena tell you, my guy? You get nothing. You get nothing.
But we've already got no greatest hit, so we do get something.
No, you wanted a run back of Money in the Bank of John Cena and CM
They
Punk.
ran back Cena and Orton.
I know, but you wanted CM Punk.
I know.
And John Cena, you wanted
You're right. It didn't happen purely because I wanted it. Cena's like, oh, just Santi, you want this? No.
That he would dress you down so fast.
I know. That's why I don't ever want to meet him. That's why I don't.
You never want to meet him?
I don't ever want to meet Cena.
Not even in a sponsorship deal where he has to be nice to you.
Oh, okay, then yeah. If he's forced to be nice, then yeah.
If you're like slinging some food, but overall, I still think Saturday Night Main Event is a fun vibe. It's wrestling on a Saturday night. It's 2 hours. It goes by so fast. I for one didn't mind the ads because luckily we have a community that we could hang out with, and I felt like I was talking to people. If you put myself in my shoes, and if you're looking for a place, whether me, Santi, Conman, Wheezy, whoever is on,
just Santi. Just
if you're looking for something to do during wrestling and you hate ads, come to one of the watch party streams respectfully. And I know I'm promoting us, and it's a very selfish thing to do right now, but I'm just for real. I do the same thing when I wasn't content creating on wrestling. I went to your streams because I knew that in between commercial breaks, I could hang out with the chat. I could talk to you, get your insight or get your ideas, and just shoot the breeze with you and have a good time. Come to our streams, man. It's a fun time. It truly is. And if you're looking for, pop us on the VOD. I don't know if it's a different time. I'm just saying that I never felt the commercials were a problem because that to me was an opportunity to connect with an audience that I had a huge audience that day because no one was on.
Yeah, I mean it's something that many people can't relate to.
No, but you could come to the community.
Could benefit from it for sure. Yes, absolutely. You could benefit from it.
Absolutely. We are welcoming people and we are fun because we're just like you. We love wrestling. And when the ad comes on, yes, we complain about the ads, but I do agree with you. The pacing was off the entire night, and maybe they had because of that. Selena Vega took up 5 minutes, but dude, network television, you cannot mess up. You cannot be over. And I was so surprised. I was sitting there, like 2 minutes left, and out comes John Cena. I was like, oh my God, how are they going to squeeze this in? And then I was like, we still need Cody, because I knew at that moment, I was like, we got to get Cody. And then Cody comes out, and then Cody does his thing, and then they do all this finish. And I'm like, oh my God, we got like a minute left, boys. And then Cody's like, John, I'll see you at Money in the Bank. I'm like, oh God, okay, you got it in. Blackout that fast, dude.
They're
so
quick.
Hey, I was impressed from a technical standpoint that they were able to drive it home. That's very, very cool to see. So July 12th at Atlanta, Georgia, in the State Farm Arena in Cody Rhodes country. Will you be there for Saturday night's main event?
Well, yes. Well, yeah, July 12th. It's too big of a work weekend for Santi. I can't be taking that off. There's too much going on. Yeah, I'll be watching. I won't be there in person.
Look, dude, we are in a whole new world. All right,
a whole new world.
Let me
Pokemon.
We literally left this world of the last Saturday main event was July 28th, 2008. And it was JBL, Kane and the Legacy versus John Cena, Batista, and Crime Time. And then we had the Great Khali versus Jimmy Wang Yang. And then we had Edge versus Jeff Hardy. That's what we had. Okay.
Edge versus Jeff Hardy's hype.
I mean, yeah, but before that, you had Great Khali and Jimmy Wang Yang in a minute 30-second match.
Hey, don't you besmirch the name of Jimmy Wang Yang. I won't have any of it here, brother.
Hey, born May 13th. All right, dude. Another Taurus.
Nice. Bronson Reed being announced as the third man at Saturday night's main event, I think was the biggest needle mover. As soon as that happened, I was like, "Oh, I missed the big show." when I came back to watch, I was like, "Oh no, I should have been here for this." The reveal of Bronson Reed, that's huge. I want to get your thoughts on Bronson Reed being the third man here, sir.
It's cool because I made a video about this, a 50-minute video on my YouTube on Sancho West Wrestling, talking about who's going to be the third man, and I went through every person on the roster, Santi, every single one. And when it came to Bronson Reed, I said wild card because his injury. I was like, it'd be cool to see Bronson Reed, but there's a lot of baggage between him and Seth Rollins. And what I did find interesting was Paul Heyman introducing the new faction, which is interesting, Santi. No name yet. Waiting on a name. No name.
I thought we were for sure going to get a name on Raw.
For sure.
They kept throwing out the future, the vision.
Vision.
Was the other thing that they kept saying. And they all had sunglasses. They all look like a faction, like a team. So I was like, now you announce the name.
Yeah.
But no, nothing yet. I'm
going to go with Braun and Bronson Security.
Braun and Braun Security. You can just do
Bronson Security.
But if you should have added Braun Strowman, Braun and Bronson Security.
See, we were able to secure you there. So I think it was a great job how Paul Heyman kind of reset the stage.
Yes.
They came out, they look great. Paul Heyman, you would know, goes, hey, and what a great follow-up. I think sometimes AEW, where they drop the ball, is when they have a banger PLE, they tend to fumble the handoff to the weekly television. Here, Saturday Night Main Event, banger moment, hand off the ball to Monday Night Raw. It's Paul Heyman letting the world know as, hey, you saw the guy on NBC's Saturday Main Event come in and tsunami CM Punk. This is him. Big Bronson Reed. This dude is badass. You want to know who this guy is? That's my guy, Braun Breaker. He's a legacy. He's a true bloodline. That guy is a badass. You want to know who this guy is? This is Seth Rollins. This is the future, the visionary. So he did a great job laying all that out, reminding the world that this is a team, that's a faction that's going to dominate the WWE. And I just loved it, dude. And this is what I envisioned before Mania. I was like, we need to return to this Paul Heyman, the guy that feels like he's in charge. And then we need to return to Seth Rollins as a guy who's an intimate threat to do whatever he wants because he has the necessary tools to. And I just love that this is Seth Rollins that's been throttled down to a way that now he's in that gear where he could coast a little bit and deliver menacing promos without falling out the hinge. And this was a great interacting first initiative promo between Seth Rollins' set faction. And I just did. Now that Seth Rollins is in Money in the Bank, how can he lose?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns could return at Money in the Bank.
Good old Brock Lesnar style coming in.
No, not win the briefcase. No. I think that, well, we have two players that could screw Seth Rollins. And if they do,
it's always about you, Seth.
If they do screw Seth Rollins, I hope it's during the match, not after he wins and then screw over the cash in. I don't want to see that again. But with it being in Los Angeles, big, obviously metropolitan market for WWE, I could see them bringing back Roman Reigns here, just to get his revenge on Seth Rollins, because we haven't seen him since the introduction of Braun Breaker into the faction. I could see Roman Reigns coming here and taking him out. I could see maybe CM Punk qualifying for the match, and CM Punk just wants to qualify to make sure that Seth Rollins doesn't win. Roman goes out there and takes out both of them.
That old thing again? We saw CM Punk already be that guy for Drew. You want to see it again?
Well, I think and it was great.
But granted, I was saying CM Punk is getting the biggest pops of his
big time
WWE run, like huge pops.
I do think, by the way, it's kind of corny and lame that they keep using CM Punk and not the thing that he's the best in the planet at. I want to hear Punk promos. I want to hear him talk, not just run in for 2 minutes at the end of a show. It's what they've been doing every episode, man.
He's getting big pops, brother.
It is getting big pops, man. But let him talk. Let the man talk. I want to hear what this man has to say. In those
dad jeans with the wrapped up wrist and the fist going out. He's giving cosplay for every middle-aged dad out there that we could wrap up there.
Sancho, I think I would pay money for you to come cosplaying as CM Punk.
Extra money. So, yes, that faction is going to rule. Bronson Reed, the only, like I was mentioned during the initiative promo, is like, why? You tsunami'd Seth, why? And then Paul kind of explained that.
Little bit.
Paul Heyman could only explain it, right? The bestest way. And you just have to go, okay. You have to accept this loophole that's happened, because if not, you're not going to enjoy this faction.
Yeah.
If you're going to be like, oh, why is Bronson Reed team up with Seth Rollins? You destroyed him, and why does Seth accept him? And just go, okay. There's some things that they can't write themselves out of, or they can't write themselves for you to believe, and just go, all right.
They did their best, where it's just like, yeah, Seth got beat up so bad by Bronson Reed, worse than anyone has ever beaten him up before. Punk and Roman Reigns were basically in a handicap match against them at WrestleMania, and even them put together couldn't put the damage on Seth Rollins like Bronson Reed was able to in one night. That's why we want him in the group, because he's dangerous, he's scary, and I like the idea that Seth Rollins could actually talk about how dangerous Bronson Reed is from personal experience, right? That could legitimize Seth Rollins putting over Bronson Reed. But I agree with you. There has to be a level of, hey, don't worry about it too much. But I also appreciate that this isn't the Vince McMahon era where they would have pretended like it never happened.
Yes, that's a good point. But poor Solo Sikoa. He thought Bronson Reed was probably telling, no, man, I'm still hurt. I can't come in.
He's just dodging his calls.
My foot is still shattered. Oh, okay. Hey, man, just let me know, because I would love for you to come back with me and Jacob Fatu. You know what I mean? That'd be great. And then he's like, hey, don't worry. I have JC Mateo. He's going to be all of us together. We're going to be cool. Don't worry. JC's not replacing you, Bronson.
JC Mateo is an awful rebound relationship compared to Bronson Reed.
I thought he was substituting. I thought, oh, okay, they're going to use JC Mateo Kaiju Kane to kind of step in to be that guy. I like how you call him. What'd you call him? You said Jefferson Cobblestone?
Yeah, Jefferson Cobblestone.
I like how they were using him as a substitute for Bronson Reed, because Bronson Reed's hurt. But I was wrong. But overall, I have my whole list of people. And what was cool is at the end of Monday Night Raw, when you had Seth's faction popping off, you had CM Punk coming in, you had Sammy and all that, Jay, and you had all these, universes colliding. And then you had Judgment Day is there too, right? You had Dom Mysterio coming in. And then a part of me was like, because in my video, I had Dominic Mysterio possibly being the third man, because they had that relationship in the Thunderdome, remember? Where Seth Rollins was trying to recruit poor old little Dom, and he took his dad's eye in the process, all that kind of fun stuff. Remember all that fun times?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe that would be the Dominic Mysterio. But it's interesting that Dom was there and screwing over Finn. But at the end of the day, I like it. It's like a lineman draft pick. Is it sexy? Yeah, it's sexy. But it's like a 5-star blue chipper Alabama offensive line pick.
It's a big corn husker of a ball.
Yeah,
He's gonna be the anchor of that O line.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not. He ain't scoring you the touchdowns, but he's the one that's opening up those seams, brother.
That's right. It's the one that you could give the ball to get the Scataboo.
Scataboo. Yeah. No, I mean, I like the addition. He wasn't my first pick, but now that I see it, now that
Austin Theory
it's
wasn't
there,
sexy enough, bro. He wasn't sexy enough. Austin Theory was not sexy enough.
All right. We just talked about how Bronson Reed wasn't a sexy choice either.
Yeah. But I'm just telling you, if you had a choice between Austin Theory and Bronson
Reed, if I have a
choice,
I'll put it like this. If I have a choice between a blue chipper, not sexy lineman, or a B tier wide receiver, I'm gonna take the lineman.
I thought you were gonna go with like a Manziel, because Austin Theory is like a Johnny Manziel, dude. Really young, really popped off, had a thriving career under Vince. You're like, oh, okay, Johnny Manziel, this guy's gonna be the future quarterback. And then
how did that go?
Too much popping bottles for him.
yeah. Too much sparkles and champagne.
I'm talking about Austin Theory, of course. Okay,
I be popping bottles.
Yeah, I know Johnny Manziel's gone through it, but hey, dude, yeah, like I said, it wouldn't have hit as hard if it's like, oh my god, is that Austin Theory? That's all right, main event. Would not hit as hard, dude.
All right. Well, let's. I wanted to chat a little bit about the Judgment Day. We titled this the Summer of Judgment Day is here again, because I've noticed a cycle here, Sancho. Judgment Day seems to be the flavor of choice for Monday Night Raw every single time the sun comes out in North America. Every single time that school is over, the summer break begins, the Judgment Day becomes the hottest act, the hottest storyline on Monday Night Raw. It's happened the past 2 summers, and it's happening again. It's happening one more time with the addition of Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan, obviously the Dominic Mysterio stuff, Finn Balor laughing his ass off in the background when everything is happening. And just like in those previous summers, the Judgment Day is getting like 5-6 different individual segments and appearances on Monday Night Raw. This is how I know when the summer of Judgment Day has officially begun. The flowers have already bloomed. Trees are green. Dominic is eating his tendies, and the summer of the clubhouse is here, buddy.
God, when I heard, oh, Dominic, I was like, oh, Liv's back. And then it was Roxy with another plate of nugs. And then she goes, ooh, your shoulder is tense. Now, I understand this may put a bad taste in people's mouth. We talked about this a whole year ago, right? This is a love triangle that is going to be difficult to navigate. Will they pull this off? They've proven that they kind of can. They could pull it off. And they kind of pulled it off where a lot of innuendos, a lot of like, if you know, a lot of adult themes just skating the line on the surface level, the hotel key and things like that. But what I enjoy about this iteration of it, it's Finn Balor is the guy that's puppeteering this. Yeah, Finn Balor is the guy that is manipulating Dom, Liv, and Raquel, and it is doing such a great job because what did Finn figure out? What is the weakness of Dominic Mysterio? That he can't turn it off, brother.
The sexy ladies.
He can't turn it off, dude. It just comes to him like flies. He can't turn it off, and it is his ultimate crush. And I like the idea if you strip away all the, he's married, and it's just that it's this character of Dominic Mysterio being a ladies' man who's went with Rhea, who's went with Liv. Now he's being tempted by Roxy. Now we get an interesting, we get friction. We get these opposing views. We get like this drama. And I know it's very surface level, Love Island, Bravo, Housewives type of drama, but it's some good stuff, brother.
I'm just here for the nuggets.
Yeah, it's good. It's good because we know their in-ring of Dominic Mysterio can deliver, and we know Finn Balor can deliver in-ring. We know Carlito could deliver, and JD McDonough, right? If you need a banger match, you could put those guys in a banger match. And then, of course, Liv has been a superstar, and she's a Hollywood starlet now, all right? She's a Hollywood star. And then you have the up and coming prodigy of Roxy. And then you have, I love this new role that Raquel has taken over as the mama hen, trying to be like, no, what's going on here? You need to do this and that. And then I love another layer they added in of Roxy helping Liv. I was like, wait a minute. Like, this is different. This is not the same. It's like a same, but different for the sequel, you know?
It is same, but different.
Right now it's Roxy trying to wedge herself between Liv and Raquel. Like, ooh, now we got layers and layers and layers. That's what I love about this more than a surface level. Let's send out Edge and lead into the middle of the ring. Like, it is not that. It is not that. It's not the big Val. It's not Shelton Benjamin walking around the locker room with Trish Stratus there, and then Vince McMahon walks in the room. It's not that surface level of cheap heat or cheap pops. It's not, oh, the big Valboski's getting in trouble running around the locker room, so the Japanese faction has to
choppy.
Off. Yeah, that is awful stuff. All right, that's not that. It is refined. Is it dangerous where they're towing the line? Are they playing a tough game where they could get themselves in trouble? Absolutely. But they pulled it off last year, and I think they could do it again this year.
100% with the characters that are in place. And now you add
established.
Yeah, because last year Finn wasn't really a character in this, right? Finn is a character this time around. Finn was the character last year that was just like, Dom, don't get in trouble, Dom. What are you doing? And that was Damian Priest as well. But this year now he is in this would-be love triangle, as you said, as the puppet master. We have Raquel, so now we have a new character and like the friend trying to be the voice of reason, maybe. Carlito's an established member of the Judgment Day now. He wasn't last year. I think that we're gonna get some really, really fun stuff with this storyline this summer. And I also think it's a huge vote of confidence for Roxanne Perez from Top Brass to put her in storylines alongside major players like Liv, Finn, and Dominic Mysterio. I think that's huge. This is how they need to bring up NXT talent moving forward. Not with love storylines necessarily, but with a storyline, not just a storyline that we're going to see if it works for a week. And if it doesn't, we're going to put you in catering until we release you. This is a storyline that I see a path, right? I see where it can go. I see the different multiple paths where it could end somewhere down the line. That is sadly a rarity for NXT call-ups, where they get put into plots and storylines that have a solid, easy to understand, easy to follow, and easy to fall in love with narrative. And they've put Roxanne Perez in one of those scenarios, and that to me is a win.
And I still think that what we talked about last year is they could say, forget Dom. Like, the ladies could unite and kick Dom to the curb as another swerve. There's so many variables and options that they can explore where Dom ends up losing everything, which I thought they were going to do last year, but instead Dom gained more with Liv Morgan and such. Now he's an Intercontinental title. I think he has more to lose this time around, which makes it more exciting. And then when SummerSlam comes around, that could be the summer of love that they pull off. I want to iterate that it's mature for these professionals to do this storyline and still understand that it's all part of the game. It's all part of the show, right? You gotta, it's like acting, dude. You know, sometimes you're gonna be in another scene with someone else that's not your significant other. They're gonna pull it off, and I like the idea of Roxy gonna be in there too. I'm just hoping that this continues, like this goes deeper than just the men's side, that into the women's need to have some kind of fallout too. I mean, yeah, we had Rhea and Liv and things like that kind of catapult Liv, but I want something for everybody of Liv, Roxy, and Raquel to benefit from this relationship.
I think they will.
It's going to be great.
I really think that they will. I look back at the last summer of Judgment Day. The summer was awesome. The follow-up, the fall, that's where it really just went downhill with the Finn Balor stuff and Damian Priest, the Rhea Ripley just constantly going after Liv Morgan and it getting boring. But they always knock it out of the park with the summer stuff. The past 3 years they have. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. I
love how they can't, like, Carlito can't figure out how to play PlayStation still.
Dude, they keep checking the controls.
My favorite part is when Liv goes, "Did you see my match?" And and the dog goes, "No, they didn't have. I didn't have wrestling back here." he was talking about the PlayStation. It wasn't set up. He was like, "No, I didn't see it." But that was a cool moment too. Seeing Liv vulnerable after a loss too. That was kind of cool. I like
cool.
that Liv's kind of control of that, and I love that. Roxy is just trying to help. Do you think that Roxy wedges between Raquel and Liv?
Yeah, I think that's the play. I think that's maybe the master plan of Finn Balor. Maybe Roxy doesn't even want Dom. She's just there to work alongside Finn Balor, because we had Finn and Roxy talking the entire time, like on the lead up to this. There could be something there. Maybe it's literally not because she's interested in Dom, but she is legitimately there to break up the Judgment Day, and that is her role, and she knows that that's her role. She isn't a puppet. She's part of the scheming. We'll see though. We'll see. We're kind of like we're starting to wrap things up here.
You don't turn into a pumpkin.
No. I still got time. I'm just saying we don't have time to do one of the longer topics that we were planning on doing, the Smackdown baby faces. I feel like we're gonna have to save that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Battleground. The past 3 years, Sancho, yeah. I've had to choose between Battleground and Double or Nothing. 3 years ago, I chose Double or Nothing, and it was apparently the worst Double or Nothing of all time. There was the great four pillars match between Jungle Boy, MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Darby Allin. That was a lot of fun, but the rest of the show was ass. Not a good show.
Okay.
And Battleground was amazing that year. I think like one of the better matches of the year happened there. I think it was Ilya and Dijak, and I think it might have been Last Man Standing match or something like that. Then last year, I chose Battleground because Battleground was the better show. And then they ended up doing that crappy Battleground out of the UFC Apex Arena that was just so bad. Maybe the most boring NXT PLE that I've ever seen. Not good at all. And then Double or Nothing was good. This year, I picked Battleground. And from what I hear, because I haven't had a chance to watch both, because again, they're counter programming, so it limits my time. I have to watch Double or Nothing later this week. I heard they were both great shows. I can speak towards Battleground. I thought Battleground was an excellent show, and I do think maybe it's having to do with wanting to create those buzzworthy conversations when they're counter programming, so that people are talking about your product and not the AEW product. We had an excellent opener match between Sol Ruca and Kalani Jordan. Just such an excellent representation of where the women's division is in NXT and where it's going to be. The bathroom break match of Hank and Tank and Josh Briggs versus The Culling was fantastic. Just such a fun match with at the end, the return of Inamura. One of the best women's matches that I've seen in a long time, Stephanie Vaquera versus Jordan Grace, was a truly fantastic match. Oba Femi versus Miles Bourne, albeit a predictable match because you knew Oba wasn't losing, was a coming out party for Miles Bourne. Excellent match as well. And then the main event was the thing that got everybody talking, Trick Williams versus Joe Hendry. Trick Williams becoming the new TNA champion. The TNA championship has now entered the conversation, has now entered WWE lore. And as somebody that's been watching wrestling as long as I have, knowing how at odds WWE and TNA were for a long time, how buddies TNA and AEW were like 3-4 years ago, where Kenny Omega was the TNA champion. Seeing this still blows my mind. I made the joke on Twitter that the only person to see this was Doctor Strange when he was looking for all the different scenarios, all 14,605,000. Yeah, he saw the one scenario where the Avengers beat Thanos, but he also saw the one scenario where the WWE has a TNA champion. Wild times. Wild times.
You're forgetting that moment where Doctor Strange saw the scenario that everything's going to win. He didn't tell Iron Man that it was going to be him to sacrifice it, all right? That's what's happening. TNA has sacrificed the legacy of TNA for the eyeballs of NXT, brother. I don't like this idea of a TNA champion losing to an NXT. Now, granted, I know it's a heel. I know it's a dirty way to win, but it still did not have that impact. It's a shame because
was that a pun?
What they should what they should have done was give TNA some wins along the way to make this like a symbiotic relationship. Because now it doesn't feel that way, definitely more than ever. I understand TNA is happy to get this eyeballs on this product. I understand Joe Hendry talked about at length in multiple interviews at WrestleMania after that he was happy that the TNA champion was at Mania and he had a match against Randy Orton for his 20th time at Mania. I get all that. I understand all that. But at the end of the day, you lost to Randy Orton in a quick match. Kudos to you. You were able to do your thing. And you lost to Trick Williams on a WWE product. It's not looking good, man. The names that the TNA thing had, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, like so many great legacies, Sting, all those people were able to be in that Joe Henry match, and you still lose in an unceremonious way, man. The reason why I'm just upset, I'm not like, it's a bummer because I feel like the TNA championship in Joe Henry could have been vaulted in the W universe in higher way. You know what it reminds me of? You remember when these X-Men characters started coming in the MCU and they're not as strong as they used to be in that Fox universe? That's what this is, man. Joe Henry coming over into the WWE universe and he's not as strong as he is because when he goes back to TNA, what are they going to do? They're going to say it's your fault that you lost. I already saw Frank, was it Kazarian talking about, oh, that wasn't me. That would never happen, which is fine if they want to continue that legacy in TNA. But it makes TNA the third product, a secondary product.
Sure.
To the NXT.
Do you think that Joe Hendry is the Human Torch getting his skin removed in the MCU?
Exactly. It's exactly that. It's Professor X getting destroyed by Scarlet Witch, which I understand. Scarlet Witch is a great strong Omega mutant. I understand that, but that's Charles Xavier, dude. That's Patrick Stewart out there doing his best, and all of a sudden dead just like that. Come on, dude. The whole Illuminati getting destroyed by Scarlet Witch.
Reed Richards being the smartest man on the universe, and then telling exactly how to defeat Black Bolt.
This is Bolt. He could destroy you with a shoot, like exactly that. And then Ribbon. It's exactly that happening all over again. And don't get me wrong. Is it cool to make this move? Yes, but I just think it was done at the wrong time. If they would have given TNA some wins here and there, had TNA go over NXT, maybe do an invasion angle with all TNA come in and have NXT be the underdog for weeks and weeks and months leading up to this moment, then it would make sense. But you go back to back losing at Mania, which wasn't supposed to happen, remember? Because Kevin Owens got hurt. So Joe Henry stepping in, losing at Mania, and then losing to Trick Williams.
Sure.
Help it make sense, Santi. Help me.
I think the way to help it make sense for you is only with
others too.
Yeah, only with a hypothetical. And I don't like trying to make things make sense with hypotheticals because the hypothetical might never happen. But if now all of a sudden these wins that you're talking about, TNA women and men defeating NXT for their titles, if this is the first domino to fall to allow for that, then okay. All right,
but it won't.
Every ounce of evidence is saying that it won't. Also, every ounce of evidence told me that Saturday night's main event is a non-canon show that you can miss. So things can change, Sancho. Things can absolutely change.
Angle, Sting, Samoa Joe, Mick Foley, Rob Van Dam, Mr. Anderson, James Storm, Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray, Chris Sabin, Magnus, aka Nick Aldis, Eric Young, Lashley, Ethan Carter III, Matt Hardy. There's a lot of WWE guys in this list.
You're not really making a great case here.
I'm not making a great case. Albert El Patron, Eli Drake, LA Knight, Pentagon Jr., Penta, Brian Cage, AEW, Sammy Callahan. There's so many names. Kenny Omega, like you mentioned, Christian Cage. They weren't active WWE members. Okay, that's the huge difference of the people.
Okay, but like I didn't hear this same rhetoric when Kenny Omega won the championship. Now, granted, you're the biggest Kenny Omega fanboy that I've ever met in my life. Kenny Omega farts, and you're over here glazing it. So where was that energy? Where was that energy?
He dropped the title to Christian Cage.
Okay,
but like Trick Williams. Is Trick Williams going to drop this title to a TNA guy? Is the question.
I would assume.
And is it going to be Joe Henry?
I don't know. Now you're being mad over things that haven't happened.
I live in this world of hypotheticals, and I don't like it.
You're getting mad over things that haven't happened. I'm just calling it out how I see it, Sancho. I didn't hear you whine and bitch and complain when Kenny Omega did the exact same thing. TNA wasn't beating AEW for their titles either.
You're talking about the belt collector, Kenny Omega. So it was established that he was collecting belts left and right.
Oh, okay. So it makes sense. So it's fair. It's fine.
Is Trick Williams collecting belts, sir? Is he a Thanos level threat in the wrestling world like Kenny Omega?
Go ahead, keep justifying it because the justification isn't there. It's the same thing.
No, it's not, because he dropped the belt to Christian Cage. He dropped the belt to Christian Cage, and then it went on to Josh Alexander and went on the Moose.
Again, but like you are comparing something that has happened versus something that hasn't. What if Trick Williams drops
another MCU property? What if?
What if he drops it to a TNA guy on an NXT show? Like, what? I don't get your point. I really don't get your point.
Okay, who would he drop it to? Nick Namath? That'd be cool. It'd be a cool way to introduce Nick Namath back into this world.
What? Okay, but so would you would only be pleased if he drops it to certain names from TNA? It can't be anybody from TNA.
I'm thinking of faces. Who are the faces of TNA right now?
I'm still hung up on the fact that you've been caught in that you've been caught.
Elijah? Would it be Elijah? I wasn't caught.
You are dodging the Kenny Omega thing.
They're what? Dude, he was a belt collector.
So what? It's not his company. The belt collector. All of a sudden, what if? Okay, so if Trick Williams's gimmick is I'm the TNA destroyer, then all of a sudden you would be fine with it. If the gimmick was
if you promise me. Is Trick Williams going to be a needle mover to get eyeballs to that Thursday night product? That's the hope, right?
I promise you that anything that Trick Williams does, and WWE, I'm not saying, by the way, before this gets clipped out of context, I am not saying that Trick Williams is a bigger draw than Kenny Omega, but this will draw more eyes than when AEW was partnering.
Now we're living in hypothetical again. That's what we're hoping, right?
But you're mad about a hypothetical that hasn't happened.
Not mad.
Yes, you are. You are literally upset that Kenny Omega dropped it to Christian Cage, a guy that, by the way, then immediately signed with AEW, which you're completely forgetting, and you're mad that Trick Williams hasn't dropped it to anybody from TNA when his reign is literally 3 days long, Sancho.
Who would he drop it to? Matt Cardona, Matt Hardy, Mike Santana. I mean,
that'd be hype.
Santana's been around. Mike
Santana would be so hype.
He's been floating around. Mustafa Ali.
Hype.
Hype. Ryan Namath, the brother of Nick Namath.
Don't do that.
Let's see. Who else? I'm looking at their roster right here. Tommy Dreamer. Why not? Put it on him.
Nope.
Maybe Moose again. Why not? Put it on him. I'm looking again. The point I want to make, Laredo Kid.
Joe Hendry again. Why not?
Who's to say that Joe Henry's still with TNA after this? What if he?
But my question is, why are you defending Christian Cage over like?
I'm not defending Christian Cage. I'm defending Kenny Omega.
No, because then the reign of Kenny Omega, you kept saying, yeah, but then he dropped it to Christian Cage as if that's somehow a magical thing.
That's back to TNA.
Where do you think this is going to go? Do you think that it's going to go to AAA?
It could go to Triple H. I don't know. It could go anywhere.
The game. And again, I harken back to you're getting mad over a hypothetical that doesn't exist.
I don't foresee, and I hope I'm wrong, that the WWE gives Joe Henry another crack at it. Because what if they decide to move Joe Henry to greener pastures in this world into the WWE universe?
They might.
They might, right? This may be the way for him to drop it a la NXT, where you drop your championship belt and you go onto the main roster. What if this is the way they're going to do that to Joe Henry, and then Joe Henry never gets his clack back, and he gets.
By the way, I also
Your
think you're coming from a very uninformed point where all the TNA losses that you've seen have been because you've tuned into WWE TV. On TNA talent is beating WWE talent left, right, and center. In the PLE before this, the TNA guys beat the Trick Williams team in their pay-per-view on Friday. Like, if you watch the TNA product, the NXT WWE talent take losses left, right, and center. This just happens to be the first loss where a title actually changed hands. And in my opinion, to make that land more, I think it was the right call to have it go the way that it did. WWE winning one from TNA. Now, if all of the sudden, all right, let me, since we're living in the world of hypotheticals, if TNA talent all of a sudden, maybe at Worlds Collide, somebody takes the from TNA takes the title away from Ricky Saints, right? Are we now in a fair playing field where TNA and NXT are in a symbiotic relationship where they're trading titles? I'm because I don't remember a relationship with AEW and TNA where TNA was winning AEW titles.
I would have been in your camp fully if Jordynne Grace became the NXT champion when she had the TNA title.
That was before their partnership, though.
I know, but that's when I would have been in your camp. If Jordynne Grace, who came over to NXT, would have gotten the championship, I would have been like, oh, WWE is willing to play ball. Because that was that first opportunity that, I really do believe Jordynne Grace could win this.
I think that's too wide-eyed and naive to think that WWE would let TNA have the first bullet.
I understand that, but that's when I was hoping for, because now that we're at this point and the WWE has fired its first bullet and has got it, it just makes the WWE look like the big brother here even more. Even though they are, that's still a TNA champion, man. That is the predecessor. That's a veteran in the wrestling business,
right?
Going up against the NXT rookie, who you even said so yourself is not ready for the main roster.
I
right?
agree.
You're like, he needs a year to incubate. And by saying that, that's kind of like, it's kind of putting a damper on the value of that TNA championship, man. It just a hair. You cannot argue with me that devalues a TNA champion. Even though the TNA champion could go back to, like, let's say it wasn't Trick Williams and Joe Henry. Let's say the TNA champion goes back to TNA and he could have the bangers of the matches. That doesn't mean anything if he can't be an NXT guy on NXT television. Joe Henry needed that win more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
The TNA title needed that win because it went through a big loss in a squash match at Mania. You may not see it as a squash match, but it was a squash match. There was a little offense, sure, but Joe Henry did not hit his standing ovation on Randy Orton, and Randy Orton did not kick out of it.
Mm-hmm. I think you're putting too much stock on that Randy Orton loss. Like that just somehow damaged.
It
Joe
happened
Hendry.
at Mania, brother. It didn't hurt Joe Henry. No, it didn't.
You keep quoting it. You keep quoting it like it did.
It hurt the title.
I don't think that it did.
Title.
I don't think it's Randy freaking Orton. I don't think it hurt the title at all. In any capacity, I feel like Trick Williams winning it hurts the title more than Randy Orton beating Joe Hendry at WrestleMania.
Back-to-back moments amplified.
Sure. I still find the hypocrisy in you being totally okay with Kenny Omega winning it. I think they're very comparable, very much the same thing. We'll see though, because that AEW and TNA partnership was very one-sided. Very, very one-sided. Like it was memes how one-sided it was. We'll see if this continues to be as one-sided as it is. I don't. And before the title changes, it wasn't very one-sided. It was very. I felt like the relationship was very. While on your turf you win, while on my turf we win. Now it's changing, which I can be down for.
Let me throw you a bone here. What's funny is, on August 13th, 2021. Cage retires the TNA World Title belt during his reign, and this was an AEW event. Dog, what if Trick Williams takes away that TNA belt and makes it his own like WWE belt? Possible.
Again, yeah, possible. All things that aren't happening yet. And then
let me. Is this a safe place?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Trick Williams starts like hating on this TNA championship. He treats it like nothing, right? It's like
that would suck. That would suck.
Okay, well, hold on. He starts talking. He's like, whatever. Leaves it behind. Does a lot of things, right? Loses it. A la Chris
Uses
Jericho.
It as a coaster.
Uses it as a coaster. Maybe licks it like Jacob Fatu. Takes pictures with it. There's lots of things people do with belts these days. Anyway, Trick Williams does that, and guess who gets offended and goes, "Wait a minute, hold up. Something ain't right here." Hey, one and only AJ Styles, and we get a match, brother, of the legacy, the flag bearer, Mr. TNA, returning back to say, not so fast, Trick Williams. You think you beat a champion, you're gonna have to beat me, the TNA champion. And then you get Trick Williams versus AJ Styles. And guess who wins and retains the TNA Championship as one of his last stops in his own retirement tour, who he doesn't announce. AJ Styles is not the guy that announces retirement tour. He just does it like a Tim Duncan and just retires with grace. All right. That's going to be AJ Styles beating Trick Williams and becoming the TNA champion once again. Therefore, going back to TNA for a bit. That I'm on board for. Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm down for that. I'm absolutely down for that. I've been wanting AJ Styles to be part of this for a really, really long time. And if this is the catalyst to bring him in there, I think it's good. Look, let's just put a button on it because we went on about this for a long time. I don't think it's as doom and gloom as you're putting it. I think that this is the first major step at full collaboration between the two. And one title or another had to change hands. And I'm glad that finally we've had a title change hands, not this loosey-goosey, like basically exhibition matches where we knew the champion was always going to retain. Like, cool. We had the Hardys versus Axiom. By the way, didn't hear you talk about how that buried the NXT champions Axiom to have them lose to 50-year-olds from TNA, by the way. Oh, but it's the Hardys. It's like it's Kenny Omega. It's fine. Just pointing out the hypocrisy.
I'm glad you answered your own question there. Yeah.
What question did I answer?
You already did.
Tell me, which one?
By the way, Fraxium, just to talk about them, why does Triple H give them super baby vanilla? We're happy to be here type vibes.
In a new Death Rebel entrance theme.
Why?
Dude, I don't know.
This is again, Roxy gets a story. Fraxium inserted immediately into the title picture within a couple of weeks. Didn't they learn their lesson with the Creed brothers? Remember when the Creed brothers were just beating everybody left and right? And we're like, ooh, it's a little bit too fast. They beat DIY. We're like, ooh.
Yeah, I do think it's a different ecosystem. The tag team ecosystem is far healthier than it was back then.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. It literally just it's main evented like 3 of the last 4 Smackdowns.
And that's made great Smackdowns, hasn't it?
It's made for great matches and a great division.
When you're sitting there like, how many tag matches are we getting Nick Aldis today?
Nick Aldis is like, I need multiple people to start fighting with each other. Please. I didn't come with enough matches.
Oh my goodness, dude. Regardless.
I think it's gonna be fine. I think TNA is gonna start beating NXT for their championships. I think that right now we could probably get some TNA champions winning the NXT tag titles. I just think that a bullet needed to land. Finally needed to land for this partnership and their matches that they come up with each other for their respective titles to matter. Because before they were just like, cool, Moose putting up his X Division title against whoever the hell on NXT. Moose is gonna win, but it's fun to have Moose here. It's fun to have the NXT guys.
It was your dream match, wasn't it?
No, he defended his X Division championship against somebody before Oba, before the match with Oba. It might have been Lexus King or something like that. I can't quite remember. But like, obviously, title's not going to change hands. They're not going to do it. Now the floodgates have opened. Not only did they like turn the valve on a little bit, like they did the title change that you could do. The most prestigious title out of all of the 2 brands that they have is the TNA title. They turn that bad boy on. Every other title match now is fair game, and that's where things get exciting.
It was for the NXT Heritage Cup champion Lexus King. Yes.
Was it Lexus?
Yeah,
Lexi boy.
Yeah. Okay. Like, I know at the end of the day, like I said, Joe Henry said in interviews countless times, he's like, his job is to just represent TNA wherever it goes. And he got eyeballs on TNA, right? TNA is being talked about, which is what they want. The biggest thing, first, you talk about the bullet landing. That's important and everything, right? But it's all about the result. If Trick Williams cannot move eyeballs to the TNA show, then it will prove that maybe what they thought was a sure thing could have been a mistake. We will see. This recording will go up on Friday for everybody. We will see where it lands. And please, in the comments, know that if you're a WWE fan, I want to know, Trick Williams winning, does that make you want to buy that TNA subscription, $10 a month, to be able to watch TNA Plus so you could start watching their shows now that Trick Williams is the TNA champion? Because he has to appear there. Vice versa, will you be excited if a TNA person comes over and starts taking NXT championships away? There's it's an interesting relationship. I just wish it was more clear.
Let me paint a scenario for you. Let's say controversial figure in TNA, Tessa Blanchard.
Very controversial. Yes.
What I would be watching if it's at an upcoming, let's say it's like Bound for Glory or whatever, Stephanie Bacher putting her women's NXT title against Tessa Blanchard. I would be watching. I would be nervous. I'd be concerned that the title is going to change hands because now anything can happen. That's the magic of this. And all of the titles are now fair game because the title became fair game. Now all of them are. And it needed to happen for the partnership to truly feel like a wide open conversation before just it being fun dream matches that were just exhibition matches. Now, anytime either of the titles are on the line for any one of the brands, you have to watch because the titles could be on the line.
What's another thing that needs to drop for me, and then I'll leave this with this, is that Nick Nemeth and AJ Francis need to show up on NXT at some point.
Yeah, I agree. And doesn't it feel like that's more likely now that the partnership is a lot more wide open? I think, dude, I need AJ Francis having a conversation at least with Trick Williams. I need that interaction. I need it to happen.
You want to see a down payment on Trick Williams?
Oh man, the internet would go so mad if it was AJ Francis versus Trick Williams at a PLE.
Right?
Dude, they'd be so pissed.
I'd be down for it.
I'd be down for it.
Dude, AJ's been doing some great things with TNA.
I know, but he's like public enemy number one with the internet, which is just silly. Anyways, new heat order. You guys got a long episode today.
Yeah. I didn't really like Oba versus Miles Bourne that much. It felt like a Gunther match because he just stored all his finishers at the end.
That's an Oba match, though. Oba does that. Oba's like, all right, now the match is over. Let me hit you with 3 power bombs now.
Gunther versus Oba would be sick.
Oba versus most people is sick.
Yeah, but you say that, but Miles Bourne cannot be that level of I could tank finishers and deliver finishers.
Sure,
like Gunther can.
This didn't feel like a match where the title was ever in danger. I felt like this wasn't really about like, hey, let's showcase a good Oba match. I think for fans, this was, can Miles Bourne be in a match like this? And I think the answer was yeah, I think he can. But he was never a threat to Oba. And that's partly what hurt the match. Like, I knew what the result was going to be, but I'm just here for good graps, brother.
Was it on the level of Sammy and Gunther? No?
No.
Was it Gunther and Tozawa? Better than that, of course.
I would say it was like a 3.5 star match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want to miss it, but it's not
I'm surprised Jordan Grace didn't win. I thought that'd be like a possibility. Did she hit her finisher? I don't think she did.
No,
right?
I don't think she did. I think they want Stephanie going into Worlds Collide and Evolution as champion.
Yeah. Makes sense. Jordan Grace, I feel like it's interesting. Jordan Grace has appeared to WWE at the wrong time almost. Does that make sense? Because Stephanie showed up, Julia showed up. If it was just Jordan Grace by herself, and then she's running the NXT championship by herself, I think that'd be her career would be a lot further along than where it is now. But it's like you just gotta hope her match against Julia not necessarily didn't expose anything. It happens, sure, but you don't want more of those matches happening in NXT before she gets to the main roster, where people are like, we're not really too hyped, because I'm still hyped for Jordan Grace.
Sure. New heat order, sir.
New heat order, dude. If someone can make a theme song for us for New Heat Order, that
don't
is not
Def Rebel it.
Don't do it, please. It's interesting that Penta. It's interesting that Penta's in the Money in the Bank, isn't it?
And not Ray.
Yeah, I thought one of them. I thought Penta would be at Worlds Collide.
I think that's going to be Ray Phoenix's job. Dude, there's so many. Dude, I don't know how many matches they're going to have at Worlds Collide. There's so many names. I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to be at Worlds Collide. Yeah, we got to have this guy at Worlds Collide. But like, these shows have only been like 5 matches. There's not really a whole lot of room.
Well, AAA, to be fair, has a lot of multi-man matches, like a bar.
That's true. That actually is very true.
You have like 5v5.
Yeah.
It would be sick if it was a real Worlds Collide. They use that octagon or ring or the hexagon ring that they have there. That'd be sick. Imagine.
They might.
Right?
They
That'd be
might,
sick,
because
dude.
it's
Why
not in the same. It's not in the same venue, so they don't have to like disassemble the ring.
It's at the Forum, which is a little bit older. This is crazy, dude. You got SoFi, Intuit, and the Forum all in that little megaplex.
SoFi.
SoFi. Number 1, Bronson Reed.
Easy.
Cody.
Number 2.
American Nightmare, Cody.
R-Truth, number 3.
Well, I was gonna have to, dude. First ever active WWE roster member to be a TNA champion.
I know, but you always shoot down my NXT people.
I'm not.
Today,
Whoa, slow down.
you're gonna give me Trick.
Where would you like Trick Williams, sir?
3.
That high.
Yeah.
Gifted, shifted, higher than the ceiling. How you get so high?
Yeah, give me Trick on there.
How you get so fly? Dude, that'd be my entrance to wrestling.
That song?
You know that song?
No, yes. I don't know it.
Oh.
Trick Willie. Combination of Cena Truth.
I'm gonna put John over R-Truth because of him getting that match of Money in the Bank.
Sure.
Where's R-Truth gonna go after this? The only result is, I think, you know what? They're gonna have things where Logan Paul is gonna little brother R-Truth at some point. But you don't understand. You're not humble enough to be with John Cena like I am.
Humble.
Dude, you have your boy John Cena and your primed out, sold out self are combined. How does it feel?
Dude, I've never been more humble in my life. That's how I feel.
You're so dumb, dude. The way you looked at the camera. It's like you just drank some Baja Blast. I'm surprised there's not a Prime Baja Blast. That'd be sick, dude.
That'd be a cool collab.
Yeah. Number 6. Who we got number 6? Roxy?
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, I think Roxy's good.
Or Liv?
I'd go Roxy over Liv right now.
Yeah.
I'd go Roxy Liv.
Yeah.
Maybe Roxy Liv Dom and that boom, boom, boom.
Yes. Soon we'll put them together. But that face that Dom made when Liv walked into the room.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Wyatt 6 returning. They should be on here.
Oh my God.
They should be on here.
Hey, dude. We got to go another 10 minutes here, brother. Talk about the Wyatt 6. Come on, we can't. It was a cool tribute. I'm hoping that it's more than a tribute, though. That's my fear. I think this is the last gasp attempt. I said this in the Smackdown review. If you want a more in-depth review of the Wyatt 6 return, we'll spend some time here. It's the last gasp attempt. I think they figured out it should not be about spookiness too much and not be about the soul of anybody, because it's such a complex thing to navigate, especially when you have short amount of time. I know they have 3 hours, but still it's a lot of time not to be able to cover something complex as that, because remember, Uncle Howdy needed vignettes, Uncle Howdy needed interviews, Uncle Howdy needs a lot to explain what he's going for. But if you're in a show that does not have enough time, just make it about gold, brother. Just go after tag team gold, get some eyeballs on them with Eric Rowan and at least Dustin Loomis. Like, get some eyes on that, man. Dexter Loomis, get some eyes on those guys. And if you put gold on them and they go in the tag team division and they go up against the Street Profits, and as a way they could kind of pretend that they're trying to get the Street Profits out of their tweener ways, then I'm all for it. But if it doesn't work out here, it doesn't work out ever.
Yeah, I would agree. I still think it gives room for Uncle Howdy to maybe do more of the more deep, meaningful feuds, you know, cause just, hey, let the Wyatt 6 guys play in the tag team division and let Howdy do some other stuff as well. Because part of the problem was that, like, the Wyatt 6 would be constantly left off of TV, but if you have the excuse of the tag team division just to constantly have them there week after week, that's the way to go. I think it's smart to put them into this tag team division because it gives them so many different characters and teams to interact with as well. And it keeps stacking that SmackDown tag team division more and more. I'm glad that they're back because I think between the two of us, I was definitely a more more positive about the Wyatt Six, even if towards the end I wasn't being bought in by them.
I was positive about the Wyatt Six, but I was not positive about the WWE booking them.
Okay? Sure. Okay.
Because the WWE, it was a bad timing because WWE literally landed into this Triple H era, which we thought we were in, and they were like trying to be semi-realistic in what they're doing, and now you get the spooky angle. You have to interject that, and I think it was just missed timing. Like they couldn't fire on all engines on everything. They got the presentation right, but they couldn't get the in-ring right because they fumbled the ball, Santi. And when I jump off the train, and some people already tell me I'm not allowed on this Wyatt Six train. When I dropped off the train was simply because when they could not convey this, they didn't solidify the spookiness nature of Chad Gable being part of this world that he was dead or not dead, and it wasn't dream, and they didn't nail that part, which was so crucial to nailing everything about the Wyatt Six. And if they would have kept it a dream state, I think that would have left them ability to make more mistakes. But because they started off with that big mistake, it couldn't recover. And then you add to the fact that maybe Uncle Howdy got injured. But I like the idea. If Uncle Howdy goes down or one of the other guys go down, you can still have this nebulous working. And now that Candice LeRae is with the DIY, which I do love. Johnny Gargano used my picture, by the way.
Used your picture?
I took a screenshot of them all together. Like, yay! I was like, "Ooh, Candice LeRae, this is perfect for her, right?" But my mouse was still on the screenshot.
Ooh, he got caught.
And then he right-clicked it. By all means, Johnny, go ahead. Do what you got to do, brother. I'm just happy for it. Thief! Which I did it as well. How dare you? I took the copyright return. But it's really cool that Johnny saw the tweet, me being excited about his wife being with that faction because it gives her something to do. Get away from Nia Jax, please. But I like this idea. And it keeps DIY in this mixture with the Wyatt Six because remember, they're evil. They turn evil, and the Wyatt Six could deal with that. But Nikki Cross and Candice LeRae, and they could have that. So I think you nailed it. I think the WWE was too afraid not to have Uncle Howdy around them. But if they establish everybody else around Uncle Howdy and Uncle Howdy gets hurt or someone else gets hurt, at least the group can function as a whole going forward.
My one ask is take the wig away from him when he wrestles. Let him. It looks bad. It looks goofy when he's out there.
Like a Chucky doll.
Yeah, dude. Just let him go out there and wrestle. Not as Bo. It would just look better if you ask me.
So he's Bo Dallas in the ring, Uncle Howdy for promos and vignettes.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
You know, when he puts on the mask, he becomes Uncle Howdy. Theo Howdy. And then he thinks Theo Howdy.
I'm pumped for them to be back. I am, but I'm cautious. I'm cautious because, as you said, the WWE booking for them has been bad, but I'm glad that they're back.
Does the road end with John Cena?
I would like the road to
on SmackDown
include Cena. I don't want this to be Cena's last stop, but I would. Look, there are multiple Saturday Night's main events between now and Cena's retirement. There's one more in the summer. If we were cool with Cena Truth at Saturday Night's main event because it was a cool showcase of the past, Cena versus the Wyatt Six is also a great showcase of the past.
Oh, you want a Nexus moment, huh? You want John Cena to bury all three of them?
Actually,
all 6 of them, don't you? Yes, you do.
No, what I want is a Firefly Funhouse. Honestly, that's what I want. Yeah. That's what I want. Yeah. I don't know that would land at Saturday Night's main event. The more that I think about it, like I wouldn't even mind if a Firefly Funhouse segment on SmackDown.
No, just make it a YouTube thing, dude. Make it one of the biggest viewed YouTube videos of all time by having John Cena revisit the Firefly and have John Cena with his new Peacemaker acting vibes go back in there. Oh, yeah. Oh, John. Good to see you, John. And I'm glad Brother Bray finally got you to see your ways, John.
Oh, that'd be so good.
And then he goes, there you are, John. Oh, I see you now. You've become who you really are, John.
They have to. They have to,
the whole world in your hands now, John. And what do you want to do, John Cena? You want to ruin it, John. Bing, 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 bing.
Wyatt
6 higher than 9? I kind of want to put them at 6.
Nice. Dude, you do with these unintentional puns, you're killing it today.
Thank you.
Will the TNA title have an impact? Yeah, 6 is fine.
Or will it be total nonstop?
Okay,
action?
all right. Stop when you're ahead. Stop while you're ahead.
Get out of here. Get him out of here. I got to be like George Costanza, dude. I should have just left the pod right there. All right. This is all going to look weird, but, these graphics are so expensive, Santi, to fix on the fly. All right. Who's at number 10?
Oh, is that all we have left?
Yeah, because everyone else shifted down. You see, look, here are the graphics here. Wyatt 6. Wyatt 6 moved up to 6. Roxy moved down to 7. Liv is at 8. Dom's at 9.
Would we consider Jesse Ventura on here? Just for his rants.
It makes no sense for the finger poke of doom to take out Kevin Nash. Hogan does have a big finger, but it may not be big enough to take down Diesel.
Why would they have a rapper main event WrestleMania? That doesn't make any sense.
Fade. His name is Travis Scott.
Dude, we need Jesse Ventura for all the nonsense moments in WWE history. Just to call it out.
Oh my goodness.
Give me Jesse at 10 just for this episode. Come on, let's put Jesse at 10.
Jesse Ventura, aka Bernie Sanders of the WWE. Sorry, you know what? The crayons work better than pen, not gonna lie. But there's your list, folks, at number 10. Shout out to the person on Patreon. Forgive me, I don't know the name. That they accumulate the scores of the top 10.
I've seen that.
At the end of the year, dude, we'll have a definitive list for the first time ever. Every time I try to do it, I'm just too dumb to figure it out because I'm not a math major. I'm a theater major. Number 10, Jesse Ventura. Number 9, Dominic Mysterio. Number 8, Liv Morgan. Number 7, Rock. What's so funny? Number 6,
what world does it make sense to include Jesse Ventura?
Oh, Joe Tessitore, dude, fighting for his life every time he's with Jesse. Number 4, John Cena. Number 3, Trick Williams. Number 2, Cody Rhodes. Again, Cody, if you're above us on our podcast, we're going to be upset. How dare you, number 1, Bronson Reed? How dare you, Cody Rhodes, come after the small podcasters?
Disgusting
Behavior from the American Nightmare. Imagine Cody wants to be on our show. I don't think we're too cool for Cody, dude. What I mean is, like, we are too dumb and obnoxious to be with the Cody Rhodes. Does that make sense? I'm seeing so many other influencers and, like, people like Muscle Malcolm fit in with whatever wrestler they interview, even like Wheezy, right? They kind of like her and Shayna Baszler, like they have that vibe.
They mimic.
I don't see that.
They mimic the tone. We don't do
Yeah,
that.
but
we don't do that. I mean, like, Cody, what's your thoughts on on all of the brain rots out there? What are your top 100 brain rots?
Hey, Cody Rhodes, have you ever heard of the immortal Snail Hogan? That's why we are the people's pod. All right, we're your
immortal
podcast.
snail. Somebody in my comment section did like the lyrics, but they were all snail
slime
related.
Yeah,
when it comes sliming down and it hurts inside.
Yeah, you hurt my friends. Oh, I gotta find it now.
It's somewhere in the Snail Hogan. Maybe I think it might have been in last week's episode in the comment section. Oh man,
dude, I can't believe we didn't put Karrion Kross in this top 10. Got a great pop though.
We
forgot about talking about great pop. Great pop. Good pop.
They're still not giving us much to talk about. That's the problem. We need more.
Well, he's gonna be going against High Horse Sami Zayn. I'll deal with you later, Kross.
Mm-hmm. You see Scarlett on a ladder? Do you think that's signifying her or signifying Karrion at Money in the Bank?
Nothing's an accident, brother. Nothing's an accident. Dude, that'd be crazy, right? Seth Rollins is about to get it, and then Roman Reigns music hits, and then Seth Rollins and the runaway, and then guess who's climbing? It's Karrion Kross. Oh my God! And then LA Knight, BFT out of nowhere, boom, climbs the bank. It's one of those ones. Wait. Sorry. Who they done that before where they give the belt to somebody and you're like, oh, I'm still happy that they win anyway? Who was that?
Wait, what?
When the WWE had two options and you were like happy with no matter what because you were still happy that they won, but even though you won,
I think Damian Priest when he cashed in.
Yeah,
like, all right, yeah, I'm good with this too.
Yeah. That's the kind of vibe that there. Or there was another one where it was like the WWE couldn't go wrong and who they picked to win because it was a win-win for both of them.
Yeah,
I think it was a women's I'm trying to remember. It was when Chelsea was going up to get the ladder, the Money in the Bank. And Chelsea got knocked off, and Tiffy went, we're like, oh, okay, yeah,
that's
Chelsea,
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
It had to been Nia Jax, we would have been upset, but it's Tiffy, so it's good.
Yeah.
All right, let's end it, folks. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. Don't insert anything else. You're done. It's over. We're in the credits section now. We're in the end game now, Sancho, as they say.
You're like beyond a bumpkin now, dude. You're just a stem on the ground.
Yeah, like in the opening of Halloween, the pumpkin that like decays.
Yeah, that's you.
That's me.
Yeah. Okay, next week, can we promise? Because this is Wrestling is Cool, not WWE Wrestling is Cool. We're gonna watch All In. We'll watch All In.
All In's not till July.
No, Double or Nothing. We'll watch Double or Nothing.
Okay.
We'll give a review.
Okay, that's fine.
I got it. I bought it. I'm gonna watch it.
All right.
You're gonna watch it?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. We commit. Why would I watch AEW? They copyright us to death.
Man, that's left me. I've had such a sour taste in my mouth ever since then. Anyways,
dude, you would have been a 4 million TikTok channel. Dude, you would have been one of the biggest TikTok channels in the world.
Easily. Well, not
you could have been the next Fortnite icon skin.
Yeah. Selling V-Bucks just everywhere I go, brother. Just slinging V-Bucks. Folks, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. If you're a $15 patron, thank you so much for your support. You do get your name read out here as part of our producers. Don't forget that we'll be doing movie night later this week. So shout out goes out to Dom was framed. He is the most loyal. Roxy for Miss Money in the Bank. First patron, I Crazy Dude says W Santi's 2.5 incher. Also, I hate Abby. Ace1151 acknowledge the real IWC leader Sancho. Aiden S. Alex Regal. Alex. Alfie the Chosen One. All hail Dirty Dom. Alan the Teflon Don. Amato. I will oil you Santi. Beltre, American Nightmare, Cody Lander, Andrew S, Anthony A, Antonio Arjona, Antony, Arbach, Arrogance, Ashley, Asperlitz, Ozzy Kingslayer, Authentic Chocolate, Bailey Saunders, BFT is the skull crushing finale with less steps, Be Hostile, Bluefoot, Bluefish, Bobby, Brad the Nerd, Brady Keaton, Bravado, Brandon Richards, Brody Cyphers, Bryce Bird, Caleb Parker, Caleb Williams, Cameron Waring, Cameron Talks WWE, Carlos Gonzalez, CB, Cena, Cody, Double Turn at Mania, Chase Rose, Chimchar Collectibles, Chris Butner Lucas, Chris Estes, Christian Billick, Clay, CM Drunk, Colby Mayo, Colin Ketchum, Colin Roach, Connor Hoffman, Cookies for Sale, Cool Whip Tim, Corey King, Sci-Fi, Dalton Dunbar, Danny Lamp, Danny Gunk, Darren Dunstan, Deck Girl, Derek Barnhart, Devin, Digi316, Dylan Stapleton, D. Lopez, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, Drake Hughley, Dumsky, Dylan Areola, Sean, Edger Nation, Eduardo Avila, El Yoshi, Ellie Ferreira, Eric Crosby, Eric Ruiz Romero, Aaron Thorne, Isage, I'm a Fonda. I don't want to say it. Fishing with Papa J, Fletcher Walpole, floating, FMFCMA. For his birthday, Santi got Dirty Dom body pillow, Forever Wrestling, Fruitful Vibes, Gamerscape, Gilbert Deans, Goatman of Cheese, Goose Lesnar, Gunther killed my brother Oos, GXA Man, Heartfelt, Hey Shakes, Hoodie Cam, I'm Rick James, bitch, Ian McNugget, I'm Braun Strowman, I'm The Beef, Isaiah Rodriguez, it's Mr. Astro Kid, it's Christian, I'm Cobb Stone Man, Jack Gibley, Jack Harris, Jackson, Jacob Mueller, Jacob Pena, Jacob Staffel, Jaden Davis, Jaden Solomon Jones, Jake Shavoya, Jacob Kufis, James Brian Balago, Jason Vane, Javier Rodriguez, Jackson Plays, Javier McDuffie, Jay Angel, JC Worley, Jean Carlos Capellan, Jeremiah Finley, Jahihi, JJ, J-Man, Joe Velez, Joe Romig, Johnny Owens, Jordan Cancel, Jordan Lynch, Josby, Joseph, Josh Musto, Juan Stroman, Juicy J, Juliana Sarfi, Justin Brooks, Justin Perkins, Justin Rivera, Caden Rivers, Caleb Martin, Kevin Davis, Kuwaiti Rick Boogs, Kyrie Lawrence, LA Night Glaze all over my body. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Let's Go Sancho, Santi Sucks, Liam, Life of Brian, Lil Shifu, Luke Parker, Manly Man, Mark, Marnie, YCSM, Matthew Dollar, Matthew Oberg, Matthew Watkins, Mossy, McQueen X, Mackay, Meredith Lee, Michael Coulson, Michael Purnell, Michael Paz, Michael Vera, Miguel Paredes, Mikey Rada, Mitchell X, Muhammad Al-Banai, the homie. My dad left to go get a Finn Balor singles push. Nathan Tully, Nevid Reyes Amini, Nellan Nicholas Kyle, Nighthawk, Nina Ray, NyQuil Pad, Noah Booth, Noah Burden, Obi Nobi, Obion 0012, Oil Up Now, Santi, Oliver Hammonds, Osama Awad, Parker Moore, Pat R, Pat McMark, Pig Nuts, Pimka, Frody, Prince Vegeta, Puke 1904, Puppet Spanker Johnson, Randy Cooper, Rost of All Daddies, Reacher, Reaper God, Reese, Ricardo Ramirez, Rick Marr, 1R, Ricky Dutcher, Ricky's Taint, RJ Don, Robert Allen, Robert Holder, Robert Rogers, Rocky B, Royce Ruffo, Ruben Sanchez, Riley, Sam Duke, Sancho's opinion over Santi's opinion, Sancho Zap, and Santi West in an alternate universe. Santi has mucho miedo for the bees. Santi is our 17-time podcast champion. Santi lives in Canada. Ha ha ha. Sauce God, Saudi Rick Boogs, Savage Bay, Scotty Bear 92, Screamo Scott, Samba, Seymour Butts, Shaggy WWE, Shitstain Nakamura, Sir Alberton, Slight Manny 00, Slow Toke Rodriguez, Stephanie Dare, Stephanie Vacher, Lookalike Contest in my bedroom, Stephen Corby, Super Malachi Galaxy, Taco Bullfish, Taman Bryan, Tanner Cloudis, the 17-time WWE Undisputed Dumbass Sir Nightmare, The Final Pebble, Vanilla Joe Rilla, Thomas Wright, Timmy Fitzmaurice, Toasty, Tobias Burnett, Tom Lehman, Trent Head, Trevor Harder, Turbo Tyson, Two Slapped Cupid, Tyson, Tyler Freed, Tyler Logan, Tyler McGarry, Vegan Penguin, Venom, Juan Pablo III, Whaler 30, White Mexican, William Martinez, William Newton, Willie Cecil, Xavier D. Lewis, Javier Izquierdo, Zach Zmira, Deadshot, You Stupid, My Reebs, Zach Griffin, Zach Hewitt, Zach Butcher, Zay2K, Zeke Love, Zergzito, and Lord BBNJ. Thank you all for supporting the Patreon. Thank you guys for allowing Sancho and I to do what we do as often as we do it. You folks take care, be wonderful people, and as always, oh wait, no, that's my outro for my Twitch page. Can't do that. Bye, everybody.